Afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Top of the Week. Today we have got Nathaniel. He just recently won the European Championship. First European, he's a champion. Do you know what I mean? Nothing beats that. Nothing. Anyone that's done that in the past, come and talk to me. Anyway, welcome, sir.
Has someone? Because it's got to be someone.
I don't know. I'm not a history guy, so I mean, as much as I'm old, me and Indy are very old, but I don't think anyone has done the first European and won at the same time. It could be maybe Tony Cliff or Owen, but I'm not sure.
I'm a baby. I don't know nothing. I started powerlifting like last week, so I just...
Yeah. On the current roster, on the men's side, Indy, maybe you know, I don't know anyone that has done face Europeans and won it on the British side.
I was looking through the open powerlifting and I was looking through all out first few competitions. Jurins bombed out on his.
You have to say that. Why did you have to say that?
Fuck you.
I mean, we'll never forget that neither, man. 2000.
It's my desktop background on my PC.
This is what happened, Nathaniel. You know, when you work so hard in life, you are at the pinnacle. People don't look at your success; they just look at your downfall.
Can I quickly say one of my all-time favorite clips of Watch You Guys podcast?
Go on.
It was when you were talking about world records, yeah, and the Indy goes, "Oh, Jurins, what about your world records? Oh, wait, you don't have none." I watched that and I was like, nah. I screen recorded that and I was like, I didn't know what to do with it. It's just for my own personal use. I was like,
it's coming soon.
I know. Believe me, the meme, the living meme. So, but anyway, mate, I know. Again, as I said, jokes aside, mate, congratulations, European champion, first time going out there, and you did your bit, right? We're gonna touch, of course, we're gonna touch on the competition itself. And of course, you've done world and more about just now bringing you back to the history where it all started. Because someone like me, myself, I didn't know who Nathaniel was until someone sent me your Instagram page. The first one I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, he's an influencer. You know, what the fuck is he doing in powerlifting? You know what I mean? That's what my reaction was. I was like, oh, he's just on. I literally said to myself, he's only coming here to take the piss out of all of us because powerlifting is fucking boring. And the man has 100,000 people following him. Why is he doing here for? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So, and then again, the next thing I see, you've been lifting and then the strength is just growing. So I want you to take us back. How is it all started? How did you get into it?
So I got into the gym. So my dad, obviously, I'm at my parents right now. My dad's the one that got me into the gym. Like from more so the bodybuilding side of things. Like he'd have the magazines, like Flex magazine and whatnot. And I saw that when I was young, and it was just something that you naturally gravitate towards. And then when I was about 12, actually, is the first time I probably stepped into a gym because there was a leisure centre near mine that let you go from that age. Obviously, most gyms are 16 plus, but they actually let you start going from like as young as 11, actually. But you have to go in between certain times. So I got my introduction to the gym from then. And obviously, I was a bit stronger than my friends at that point. Obviously, like I've always been quite athletic. I had a very athletic background, played basketball, did gymnastics actually for quite a bit, which I think really helped in a lot of areas. Especially with powerlifting now. But so we carry on there. And then when I got to about 14 is when I kind of started my transformation to where it is now. And I think around that time, I was 40. I had a 3-plate deadlift at like 147. Bench wasn't like anything crazy, like 60 kilos with like reps and whatnot. It wasn't anything crazy in that regard, but like deadlifts in particular, there was some clear like just strength in that aspect. And I kind of kept it going. And then we get to uni now. And just a bit before this, obviously, like, you called me an influencer, right? So obviously, that's what most people would know me as. But the things that I used to post that used to really go viral was when I would hit, like, gym PRs, like deadlift PRs in the gym. But obviously, what got me a lot of stick in the powerlifting world is that I used to use a deadlift bar. I used some of the bumper plates, you know, like I used to do stuff like that, right? But I wasn't competing. So you're just trying to do stuff that is just as impressive as possible, like impress the NPCs and whatnot. So I was doing that stuff. So I was always known as a guy that was strong, but I didn't compete. It was then when I got to Loughborough, I went to Loughborough University 2 years ago. And obviously they had a powerlifting team there. I'd thought about competing previously, but it just never happened. I'd even signed up for a comp. Well, tried to sign up for a comp. But anyways, when I got to Loughborough, tried out for the team. Gone to the team and then did my first competition. It went well, and I was vlogging this whole process. And then the big one was British University Championships that I did last year. That was me versus Dapo and then Jack Hopkins. And obviously that was only my second competition. And obviously being in the university kind of powerlifting scene, box is like the big thing. So I kind of resigned myself to probably come in like third in that competition. But then Jack had his infamous bombing out. What do they call it? Jack Dropkins. That was that day.
The deadlift, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's when I managed to come second. But weirdly enough, at that British University Championships, that was only my second competition ever. After that, I was like, I don't really want to do this, because powerlifting is obviously, it's difficult. And coming from like the influencer background, like, you kind of, not you go to the gym when you want to, but you don't have any set requirements on yourself. Like, you kind of do things on your own terms, and you never have to deal with that pressure of a competition day, all of those things, like bits of weight cut and whatnot. It's way more like, if I just going into the gym and just doing PRs to post on Instagram is nothing compared to actually doing a meet and having that pressure, obviously, of also having a platform. So if, let's say, I done what Jack did and bombed out of that meet, he just like fell off the face of the planet for that period of time, came back and did juniors. I couldn't do that because my audience would be like, yo, what's going on? Like, what happened? And I have to like own up to the fact that, you know, I messed up. So it's not just, it was added pressure. I feel like, so after that, I didn't really want to do powerlifting. So kept doing what I was doing, just the Instagram PRs and whatnot. And then I had an event this year, at the beginning of the year, my protein event, and that's where I met Joey for the first time, right? And obviously at these events, obviously I'm the influencer guy, but I'm also like, I've always been known as being strong, but this was obviously the first time that like a guy like Joey had come to an event, and like he was obviously stronger than me, and people were like taking the piss out of me for it. Because it was like because it was like my friend Joe and whatnot. Like in Joe's mind, obviously to people that don't know powerlifting, I'm like the strongest guy ever. So the fact that there's this other random guy, Joey, is like, what, and he's stronger than you, and he's 10 kilos lighter, like, haha, like it was one of them ones. So, and then I started talking to Joey, and I asked him like, what do guys in powerlifting like think about me? And he started telling me kind of some of the stuff of like, you know, you just deadlift on the bendy bars, and they didn't think you were gonna do that well at box, and blah blah blah. And it just really pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie. So then literally the next day, like my friend CJ had told me about Owen, right? That he was coaching him. So I was like, I need a good coach. Let me just shout Owen. Literally the next day, shouted Owen, started working together. And then on the first consultation call, I was like to him, like, I feel like I've obviously got potential to be one of the best lifters, but I don't want to look back at it and be like, I could have been one of the best like lifters, but I just decided to not take it serious, because that's basically what I would have done up until that point. I mean, I'd done 2 competitions, did well at box, but obviously nothing really notable. But if I got older and never took it serious, I would have been like, oh, when I was younger, I could have been. I didn't want to be that could have been. So I was like, okay, cool. I want to be like one of the best like lifters in the country, and hopefully next year, like go to the international. So that was a goal for like 2024. 2024 is like, all right, cool. We'll build towards that and just see how it goes. But then obviously everything happened way quicker than expected. So we can get more into like the competitions that we've done this year.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So when you get to Jurins' age, you want to look back and be like, I had a successful career.
Obviously, yeah, exactly. I didn't want to get, no, not Jurins. No, I'm not saying what he said.
He goes, yeah, bro. Look you in the face.
You're 21, I'm 34, so it's fine.
Wait, Indy, how old are you? Because you're always taking a piss out of Jurins. How old are you, Indy?
I'm 32, bro. I'm old. But the thing is, I don't act like Jurins, you know what I mean? I don't go around talking about old lion in the jungle and my knees hurt, but I still squat. I'm embrace that shit.
I haven't, no. I'm black. I don't embrace age. No way.
No. Running from
so I mean, thanks, mate. That was a very detailed story in terms of like where you started. But you mentioned a few things that got my attention in terms of like, of course, you come from a very totally different background than all of us, you know. But one thing unique we all here have is that sporting background, you know. Yeah. And I've never met a powerlifter that is so good at being a powerlifter and tells me like, oh, I've never done sport in my life. This is the first time. I've never met one. Do you know what I mean? Maybe they exist out there, but never one. But all of us have good sporting background. I like about us.
I don't think it could happen, because it's obviously you gravitate naturally towards stuff as well, like depending on how your own personality is. So if you're like want to get to the top level of powerlifting, you've obviously got that competitive spirit. You obviously got that desire to be one of the best and whatnot. If that's the way that you're wired when you're younger, you're going to gravitate to sport. So I feel like it's almost like a mandatory in that sense. And then also like competing under pressure, even like motor skills and being able to learn stuff. Like for example, with myself, I would say I picked up low bar squatting I low bar squatted properly for the first time in March. And then by nationals, I did 280, which was in April, literally like a month and a bit. So like, I know I can pick things up fast, and part of that comes from a sporting background. So I think you kind of need it.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, going back to, again, as I said, I mean, you're an influencer. You come to a world where people are taking, let's just say like, people are taking things serious. You know what I mean? You do things for fun, right? You used to do it for fun, live to a powerlifting bar and all that, just for the internet, right? But now you come to an environment where, you met Joey, as you mentioned there. Joey was stronger than you. It's because he was taking it serious. Do you know what I mean? He was not using a deadlift bar. He was not doing it for the Instagram. He was actually doing it because he's a competitor. So you come in. How did you find that experience? Because it's a discipline, right? I know you have got a sport background, the discipline already there, but this is different because powerlifting is a niche sport. Nobody cares about what we do, right? So how did you navigate to the point where now I can tell every time you're on the platform, man, you can't chat shit. You love it. You know what I mean? You love being on the platform.
100%. 100%. So I think, obviously I did 4 competitions this year to get to this point. So I did a national qualifier. I did, I think, Northwest competition at Raw Strength Gym. That was to qualify me for nationals. I did that. I totaled 747.5 of that competition, right, in March. Now I did nationals. I totaled 780. That was in April. Then we did Worlds, came third. I totaled 802. Then we did Euros. I won. I did 810. So that first competition, right, I would say one of the big differences is that my mindset was not in the right place. I hadn't like properly like embraced the suck, in a sense of like, obviously when you're powerlifting, like you're going to be out of your comfort zone, and obviously you need to train hard. Things are going to be uncomfortable. Going fully into that, I wasn't comfortable with at that point. So like, for example, on squats, Owen had planned for me to do like 265, 270. I ended up doing 262, more or less. Looking back at it now, just because like my heart wasn't really in it, and I wasn't giving it my full, like my all, because that's something that's hard to do, especially if you're not used to doing it. So then I think there was a big mindset switch after that. But I feel like obviously I've always been very like career oriented in terms of with fitness as well. And looking at it even like just off of the numbers, like obviously I told you I've always been doing those Instagram deadlifts and whatnot. But obviously that's starting to taper off. I can see that starting to taper off, right? And then even now looking back, the reaction that I got from Euros was big, but the biggest one actually was Worlds. The reaction I got from coming third at Worlds, right, blows every single PR I've ever done out of the water, like random Instagram PRs and whatnot. Like the Instagram post I did after that, the video after that, like that stuff, like even if you're just looking at numbers, that stuff blew out of the water. So it came to a point where I also knew that, okay, cool, powerlifting, yeah, it's a niche sport, but because of the audience that I built off where they care about strength, if I take powerlifting seriously and it adds some legitimacy to that, then it will actually benefit my career as well. So it was kind of mutually beneficial. And but more so than that, I just had to restructure the way I was thinking and restructure my whole life, to be honest, around that. Like now, like obviously before that I was at uni, I used to go out and whatnot. This past year, I've been at home. Obviously, I live by myself, like me and my girlfriend now. I barely go out. Obviously, obviously this year I was 20. I'm a young guy. Most guys are going out, partying, having fun. Like barely going out, barely doing stuff like that. Like go to the gym, train, like come home, eat. Like that was my life, and I got comfortable in that. And you start to enjoy it. So I'd say that was the biggest change. Like obviously my lifts have gone up and I've gotten a lot stronger, technical proficiency. Yeah. The mindset aspect is what I really need to get first of all, to go from just the Instagram lifter to like a natural world level power lifter. So yeah.
I mean, yeah, boys, you can jump in if you have any questions. But you mentioned there, Nathaniel, in terms of like, of course, the platform you build yourself in terms. I mean, talking about your performance of world. I mean, I know we're going to touch on that. The way it blew up, even some of us, you know, your strength did not shock us. I don't know if anyone who said I was shocked about Nathaniel's strength, he's just a dick, right? Your strength did not shock us. But what shocked me personally is your positioning, where you place. Do you know what I mean? If you come to me and say, oh, would you think Nathaniel would have told her AO2 or AO5? I was like, yes, of course, it would have. But I would not put Nathaniel third a world with AO5 because there were such big hitters in there. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's the surprising bit about it. So my question to you was like, how do you think social media can influence the sport you're doing? Because you mentioned there the platform you've built, how powerlifting is not really such a niche sport. But how do you think that experience of social media we can bring it over and it can help the sport we're all doing?
I think it can add some more incentive to it to bring in guys who ordinarily would just do general sport and actually get some more of the actual freaks into powerlifting. Because if you're like a genetic freak, an athletic freak, you're going to be playing rugby or basketball, football, stuff like that, right? Because they have more financial incentive, right? But then if you know, more so see a guy like me who can build a platform and whatnot off of doing this, then you're more likely to get more and more kids into that. Then you're going to find more genetic elites, and then the sport's going to continue to raise. Because I feel like a bit, I'm very new to powerlifting, but I remember I actually started watching like Johnny Candito's videos, obviously years and years ago when he was blowing up on YouTube, right? And obviously the powerlifting at that time, I think the main difference from then to now was literally just the size of the pool, like the amount of guys who are interested in now. And obviously with that, you're going to find more genetic elites. So I think that's one aspect. And then on a personal level, like just with myself, I feel like because my life is set up in a way where it's basically my job to go to the gym and make content, I have absolutely no excuse to not be at the top of my game, because realistically, those are factors that are not at play for the guys that I'm competing against. Like the guys I'm competing against, Nathan, he's literally a lawyer, bro. Like that guy's a real job. Like my job is to like post on social media. So like I have no excuse to not be at the top of my game if I'm competing against guys who are at uni working real jobs, you know what I'm saying? And my only job is to post on social media. Like I really have no excuse in that regard. So I feel like it's helped me get to this level also because my life has not been as stressful in certain areas as like it has for like, say, Nathan, for example. So
I agree, because there's one thing of what you mentioned there, like, because some people, they do fail to understand external factors. People just think like, oh yeah, but because the sport you do, you just put a plate on a barbell and then you pull it. But you don't understand, like, we're human beings. We've got other things around, as you mentioned there. Nathan is a lawyer, right?
Yeah.
So if he's at the top of his game, he's the best 9-3 in the country as a junior being a lawyer, someone like you ain't got no excuse.
That's
you know what I mean?
Literally, that's how I've started thinking about it. Because I mean, and I've always been the type of guy, well, more obviously a lot more recently, that like hates it when like influencers like moan about how hard their life is. It's like, bro, like people out here have like real problems, and like your only job is to post on social media. So I have that mindset with just the industry in general. So then obviously when that comes to myself, I'm gonna be holding myself extra accountable. It's like, Nathaniel, like really don't have as much going on as some of these guys, so you really have no excuse not to be stronger. Like that's kind of how I look at it. And I think that's
so how the pressure, because I'm not an influencer. All I do, I can't even post a fucking video on social media anyway. How do you deal with the pressure of being an influencer and at the same time doing this? Because doing a sport like powerlifting, and then as you said, the pool has grown, right? Not every day you're gonna have a moment like you had at the Euros or you had at World. You know, moment where you come where you meet your mecca. You know, people are way stronger than you. Be like, what the fuck? Where did these people come from? Yeah. So how do you deal with that pressure being an influencer? Because it's almost like everyone expects Nathaniel to be at the top forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I would say, I'm not sure I can say I found it difficult, yeah, because obviously we've been on so more a bit more general, right? Not niche in powerlifting. You obviously got people who follow me and don't properly follow powerlifting. So because they only really follow me, they're just under the assumption, like any competition I do, obviously up until this point, where I've come second, I've come third, there'll be at least one comment be like, well, if he's second, who came first then? Like, people that follow me can't fathom that there's people out there stronger than me. So with that comes the expectation that I'm going to go into competitions and then just stomp everyone. When going into Worlds, I would have been happy if I could have cracked top 5. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then like even going into Worlds, that was mentally daunting, because it's like obviously people are just naturally expecting me to win, right? That don't know powerlifting. But it would not have been inconceivable that I landed 10th. Do you know what I mean? Because I came in nominated 8th. If Shane Nutt had a good day, that bumps me down. If Yulong had a good day, that bumps me down. If Peyton had a good day, that bumps me down. If Malik no, he already beat me, but still, like, so many of these guys, I could have ended up way lower, right? And then they would have been like, what's happening? Like, how did he come 10th? because they just think that because they only follow me, I'm the strongest guy. So that's hard to deal with, because then obviously you could be disappointing people for stuff that is not even a disappointment. It's just based on expectation versus reality. So that's just hard to deal with sometimes. But I really think you just have to tune it out. Like, just try and just focus, like, only really listen to what your coach is talking about. Like, and realistically, up until this point, even though expectations have been high, like, I have still been exceeding some of these expectations, because obviously as a second year powerlifter, like, even Euros was my 6th competition ever, you still generally wouldn't be expecting someone like me to win, someone like me to come third at Worlds, you know what I'm saying? So it's helped that I have still, up to this point, exceeded these expectations, but it has been someone that's definitely been difficult to deal with. Like, just even just dealing with NPCs in general is just irritating. Like, do you know what's been the most irritating thing about Euros? Is that, like, stupid and slightly racist guys on the internet have constantly been like, oh, but you're not European though. I'm like, but you're not European. It's like, bro, this isn't an ethnicity contest. It's a national. You'll compete. It's not whites versus blacks. It's not like football in school. Do you know what I'm saying? It's based on countries. So, like, I don't have to be white. Like, just even seeing comments like that has just really annoyed me this whole time.
Well, we all get it, you know. I mean, you speak really well. I don't speak well. I get things like, oh, man, you can't even talk English when you're calling yourself British. How the fuck is that you end up being British?
But I didn't mean that when I said that. I never said that.
You never said that.
Dedicated trolling, yeah.
No, literally. So I'd say just generally dealing with people that don't have much knowledge in powerlifting, but because I have a big platform, know about me, that can just be frustrating in its own right. But kind of just have to tune it out.
Have you had to develop like really thick skin to, obviously because you have so many followers, right? And every post you make gets like hundreds of thousands of views and comments. Obviously, a lot of those comments and stuff is going to be like positive, but then you're also going to get a lot of trolls and shit that chat a lot of shit, right? Like, how's it been for you to like be able to? Because obviously we're all human, right? We all want to click on comments and then just read through the whole thing. Like, have you had to develop something where it's like, right, I'm not even going to bother clicking on the comment section, ignore it and shit like that? Like, how do you deal with that?
I would say so. Obviously, when I first blew up, it was actually quite hard to deal with, especially because I've been young this whole time, like 16, 17 years old. You're still like figuring yourself out. You may have certain insecurities, not even insecurities, but still like you're young. And people on the internet saying negative stuff about you, it's like fairly hard to deal with, right? I would say my skin's gotten a lot thicker, but I feel like you don't develop a permanent skin. Like, there could be a time when I'm like, I don't even care what someone's saying. And another time I hear someone say something, I'm like, bro, I have to bite back or something like that. Like, it comes and goes depending on the day. Like, depending if you're getting along well with your girlfriend, depending on if your mom is, like, it just depends on everything that's going on. You might just see another internet troll, and then that's like the last thing that like just tipped you over the edge that day. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's not a permanent thing. It's like a depends on the day thing. But I would say it's definitely gotten a lot thicker. But it's difficult. It is hard to deal with sometimes. Someone who's worse at it than me is Joey. Like, Joey will cuss someone out in the comment section, and he does not give a monkey's. Like, I can't do that because I feel bad, but Joey don't feel bad. So
has anything ever like got to you? Does anything in your head someone said actually genuinely got to you? Have you got an example of something? Because you know we love the trolling here. Like, obviously most of this stuff isn't even trolling. It's people who genuinely have a problem with people they don't know.
They're just jealous.
Do you know what? No, there's definitely, if there's at least an element of truth to it, then it obviously stings that much more because when you see it. But what was it? I can't think of anything that comes to mind right now. But like, yeah, it was. There's been a few things. I will think about it when it comes up.
You know, the worst comment section.
It's the burners. It's probably your account.
You know, the thing is, I don't use burners. I use my own. I use my own account. I'm probably the worst for it. But the worst comment section ever has to be the King of the Lift comment section, because there's so many fake profiles on there. Like, some guy just puts up, I think King of the Lift shared my lifts, and some guy goes, yeah, he looks so British. I'm like, what do you want me to do? You want me to shave all my hair off, get a skinhead, walk around with an EDL flag? Like, what do you want me to do?
No, that's not. That won't even be enough, bro. That won't even be enough. Literally, like on my one recently, the comment was that had about like. The comment, say that the post had like 30 comments, but there were 4 normal comments and then one just long thread. The first comment was like, oh, there's one common denominator about all these top deadlifters, and it's something you can't teach. So it's basically just saying I'm black. Like that was basically the general gist of the comment. And then it's just people arguing. And it's just like, all right.
You had an easy comeback there. You should have just tagged Jurins.
Oh, shut up.
No, I'm joking. No, listen.
You know, the thing
You know
is,
what? It's the worst comment. I love like what they get up to and the shares they do and stuff. But the amount of trolling that goes on in the King of the List comment section is ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh man, I had one, right?
It wasn't.
I think. Go on. I think he posted one of my squats, and he was like, "Oh yeah, Jurins is really moving some next way." And some guy was like, "Yeah, but he's still like way far beyond Rossi. We're never gonna be Rossi. We're never gonna get to Rossi's level." I was like, I'm just thinking that I'm thinking, hang on. Yeah, but Ross is not gonna get to my level either. I have a kid. The guy ain't got no kid. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how the fuck is Ross? Is it Ross has got 2 degrees? No. So fuck you.
No. I hate when people bring in unnecessary people that we're not even talking about. It's like, bro, okay, let me shine. Like, we're not talking about that guy. Let me shine. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, but it's a powerlifting thing, right? And I know you probably got it at Euros, and everyone gets it all the time. They're always like, "Oh, but if this person was at this meet, you wouldn't have placed here." I'm like, what, do you want me to just pay for them, drag them down,
fly that guy out? Do you know what I'm saying?
Fly that guy out. Like, what do you want me to do other than go against the people that are at this competition? I can't compete against Espin because he's never at any competition.
Literally. As this guy.
I'm glad that Nathaniel, you know that Espin doesn't turn up to competitions anyway. Cool.
I thought of ones that just trigger me. It wasn't even my comment section. It was Nonso, yeah. He did his on his post about his 800-pound deadlift, whatnot, yeah. It's the comments that are like, okay, but can you fight though? So, bro, who was talking about fighting? Like, you never see he was a UFC fighter. Like, what? Anytime, guys, like, it's just a defense mechanism. Like, anytime they see a strong guy, they just want to go to, oh, but he can't fight though. It's like, bro, I didn't know I was training to be bulletproof. Like, I'm sorry, I'll be Captain America next time. Like, I didn't know that was what I was meant to be training for. Like, I don't get it.
Do you think you get it worse as a black lad?
Huh?
Do you think you get it worse being a black lad?
What, those kind of comments?
Yeah.
Do you know, I'm actually going to go with no, yeah? Because, I'll give you an example. Like, my friend James Beardwell, he's like more on the TikTok side of things, right? Obviously, he had a big platform coming into uni, right? But because he had a big platform, yeah, and he was more, he was seen as just like the pretty TikTok kind of dancer guy. He used to just get into fights for no reason, just because guys were angry at him, like just because he had followers. Whereas with me, right, when I was at uni, and then you have that kind of like a little bit of the aura of being like scary black guy, because obviously in the industry as well, like people have literally called me like a roadman and whatnot, even though I'm literally the opposite. But they just see a black guy and they automatically think that I sell drugs or something like that. That like leads to like
let me ask you, what car do you drive?
Less likely to want to fight me because they think that I'm like that. Do you get what I'm saying? So I actually kind of like it sometimes. Like,
okay, Nathaniel, what car do you drive?
You might as well just accept it. Like, if an old lady wants to cross the road because I'm there, it's like, okay, cool, more space for me. Like, do you know what I mean?
Jesus Christ.
But anyway, I do that. I carry around a black bag on purpose now just to fucking scare man.
That's what I mean. Like, listen, sometimes you just have to play into it. Like, you can't change the world.
Bro. People gonna look at you with a preconceived way. I'm just like, I'm gonna play up to it then.
That's what I mean. Like, I'm not gonna change his mind. All right then, I'll put my hood up. And what? What now?
I think people are just like, I think people are just honestly so stupid. Like, in terms of when it comes to racism, right? I don't think that will ever end. An example, right? I remember I think it was like a year ago, right? This is the worst. It was funny, but it was so fucking dumb, right? I was on my way to work, and this lady was just there, randomly just staring at me, right? So she was like, "Excuse me, sir," quite oldish as well. She was like, "What country are you from? Are you Mexican?" Right? And I was like, "No, I'm from Ecuador." She was like, "Ecuador, okay. You speak Spanish though, yeah?" And I was like, "Yeah." "Okay, yeah. So you're Mexican." Honestly, I had like 4 stops left to get off. I just got off.
You have to sit there. You just have to sit there. Like,
I didn't even want to be there. I was like, that's wow.
You know, sometimes though, occasionally though, you can't even be mad. You just have to be like, all right, cool, like,
yeah.
So I find it funny now. I find it funny. Yeah, no, the reason why I troll so much is there's so much trolling out there. I'm like, I've got to give it. I've got to take it. Literally. Like, it's just fucking funny at this point.
I mean, anyone, when you come to social media, I always say this, like, unfortunately, the environment where we are, that platform, that every single platform we use, there's people out there that have got some proper health issues and mental health issues where
here we go.
I know these trolls do affect them massively. What do you mean, here we go? Do affect them massively. But people like us, because we build almost that shell, to me, like, no comment or no social media story that get to me. But you can say anything you want in the world. I would just look at you and thinking, all right, the distance here between is I'm the moon, you are the monkey trying to reach out. So, do you know what I mean? What's the point of me that?
I'll hold my hands up. Every now and again, something could affect me. I'm not
because you're still young, Nathaniel. You're still 21. You're still 21, brother.
Yeah, no, I hear you, but it's the name of the game at the end of the day. Like, it's you gain off of people commenting and sharing and whatnot. So if you're gonna take the good, you can't not want to take the bad. So it is what it is.
I've got a question though. So you see, when you first met Joey, right? He told you about a few individuals that said that you wouldn't make it to the position that you're at right now, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know if you want to name names in this podcast.
Name names, bro. What you mean?
It's up to you.
All right. So he actually never named names, yeah.
Okay.
But like, you know, I had a sneaky suspicion, yeah, that before I actually signed up with Owen, I feel like Owen was my biggest hater. Like that's just because obviously I love Owen, yeah, but I know that he can also be a prick. Like I know what he's like. So I feel like
we all know that. Don't worry. By the way, can you be clear?
Let me pull up the chat I had with Owen about Nathaniel.
He said he wasn't. He said he didn't.
What Owen are you talking? Be clear. What Owen are you talking? We've got
so Owen, EST Owen.
It's Coach Owen.
Thank you very much.
EST Owen. So I'm talking about EST Owen.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I just, because of how I got to know him and how like we take the piss out of other people, I'm just gonna put my hands up. Me and Owen's chat is full of us just laughing, yeah. So I feel like if he's like that, he definitely would have taken the piss out of me before I started powerlifting. But he said he didn't, but who knows? But
you know, I'll be honest. I've been speaking to him since before he started coaching you and stuff.
Yeah.
I've genuinely never heard him say a negative thing about you. That's not me even fucking sucking Owen off. Like, I meme the fuck out of Owen 24/7.
Yeah.
But I think when it comes to stuff like, I think he's too neutral sometimes because he has a business. He has like something to like. Do you know what I mean? So I think he can be too neutral sometimes.
Yeah. Well, okay, can I put it back? All right, cool. Let me put it back. Before you go on to what you're saying. All right, so when you guys, I don't know when you would have clocked on to me, but at that point when you first kind of clocked on to me, what was your impression of me then?
Don't ask me.
Just influencer. For me,
just influencer.
No, because I didn't know anything about you. Like I saw you had a huge following, and I was like, okay, cool, definitely an Instagram like influencer. But in terms of training and that, I thought, I personally would never have thought you would be in the position you are right now.
Neither did I. So I can't say
literally.
With me, when I first saw you, I'm not gonna lie, it did piss me off. You know what I mean? Do you know what? Do you know why it pissed me off? It didn't piss me off the fact that another black man is joining powerlifting. No, I'm not saying that. It did piss me off the fact that I know you have got your own world of being an influencer, which you were doing amazingly well. And then when I started going through your Instagram and I see the lifting you were doing, I'm thinking, hang on, I fucking spend 5 days a week, 15 to 20 hours a week to train, to take these things serious. And this kid just going on Instagram and making the mockery out of the sport that I do. And I think that was not about you. It was about the comment section on your post. And I was seeing people like, oh yeah, I think he's the strongest kid he's the strongest kid in the world. No one will touch him in Britain. No one will touch him in Britain. And I was like, man, now they're just pissing me off. And then I had a conversation with Owen. And that's when Owen said to me, like, look, what you see on social media and Nathaniel as a person, totally two different people. That's when I was up to myself, okay, let me watch where he's going then.
Here's what I would say to that, yeah. I would say that, maybe not Instagram, because you don't get a huge picture of someone on Instagram, but on YouTube, I'm like more or less the same guy. But the difference is what you assume I would be like versus what I'm actually like. Because most people do that based off like, let's say if they were in my position, what would they be like, right? So obviously I've had conversation with Owen because he said he's surprised, like, for example, like how like teachable and like not teachable, but like down to earth, and I am like easy to coach kind of type of thing. He thought I'd be like probably a bit more headstrong and whatnot. But like I've literally got to the point where I am now from being like teachable, learning new stuff and whatnot. So just because obviously I've got to a point where other people might say, oh, but you're this, you're that. That's like, if I had that mentality, I literally would not have got to here now. So although some people, you know, get that in their heads and then, you know, start thinking the best things at sliced bread and whatnot. If I was that type of guy, I would not have started in powerlifting. I would not have taken powerlifting seriously because I just wouldn't have cared enough. I wouldn't have wanted to start something that I'm not already good at and I didn't know I would have success at. Do you know what I mean? If I was wired like that to where just I thought that I was just automatically the best and whatnot. So
I think it's been also it's been ingrained in that influence as well, because the truth to be said, Nathaniel, is most of them we see on social media or on TV or whatever, their life is so hard for you to sit there and picture that person being humble. Do you know what I mean? Because all we see, because again, it's part of the nature, it's part of the job. You sometimes have to do extra for you to sell whatever. Do you know what I mean? But when you see like in America nowadays, I mean, I'm not going to name people here because it's not publicity. You see these people because they have a huge following, they come into a powerlifting meet with a fucking Louis Vuitton on. What the fuck? What the fuck?
I've probably done that.
Do you know what I mean? If you do that, mate, if you do that, one day if I come to me, I see you wearing a Louis Vuitton, I will fucking rip it off of you myself.
You know, I had the slides on. I had the slides on. So I can't be like, yes, man, on this one. And then someone's going to plot the picture of me with the slides on. It's not like, what, he's chatting rubbish.
So how do you...
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, you know? I hear what you're saying. And I would tend to agree, particularly on the American side of things. Do you know what? On the UK side of things, the majority, because like, for example, we had at Gymshark, we had the Lift Manchester event, right? So they got a ton of the UK influencers down and whatnot. Majority of us are just down to earth, normal people. Because also, I think it's you almost do as much as people allow, in the sense that if people really don't like people that are arrogant and whatnot, you're less likely to find as much like arrogant people. And in the UK, that's really frowned upon. Like, as soon as someone starts bigging themselves up and whatnot, people just naturally want to tear you down, right? It's not our culture to think like we're the best and whatnot. So I feel like that just naturally breeds people who just kind of have to be more humble with it. Like, even if you're not that way inclined, you just kind of have to pretend. Otherwise, people are just going to think you're a prick. Do you know what I mean? So majority of us are just more so down to earth and humble and whatnot. And I also think it's about perspective. Because obviously to some people I'm a big deal, but now by virtue of getting to this point, I've now started hanging around with people like in other industries that are legitimately big, like can't go Tesco's type big. And so now me compared to that person, it's like, well, what am I talking about? I just lift weights on Instagram. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think it's always about perspective as well. And wherever I've kind of gone to and people I've associated with, I've always tried to then reframe and be like, all right, cool, I need to get to that level. So then you start thinking about yourself, and that's good. Like, you shouldn't think that you're like the best thing ever. I mean, so I think it just depends.
Are there any other like influences, right, that you know of that you would believe that would be sick in the powerlifting world, that could be strong and like shock a few people?
In the influencing world?
Because obviously you only started 2 years ago, bro. Like literally, you started competing 2 years ago and you got to this position here. Is there anyone like...
But he doesn't have a 6 out of 10 genes, though. He doesn't. He has got 9 out of 10 genes.
I don't have 9 out of 10 genes.
No, we're not having this conversation. Swear to God.
I watched the one with Keenan Lee. Oh, by the way, guys, actually, I had to go away. I'm actually a big fan, you know. I'm actually so happy to be here. Like, do you know, one of the things that was going in my mind going to Jurins was like, oh, if I win, maybe I'll get a SABADO Sessions podcast. Like, I was genuinely thinking that. So I watched your stuff. On the genetics thing, I watched your Keenan Lee one, and then when he said like, what was his first answer, like 6 or 7, Mo got so happy, but then when he got into the answers, it just didn't add up to 6 or 7. It didn't make any sense.
No,
he was like, Mo, 9, bench 7, 9, so I'm a 6. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Mo's the dumbest smart person I've ever met in my life.
I've heard that.
I said it to his face as well. Like, so I'll say it when he comes back on.
And that's
his logic is just
being here as well.
Shut up, prick.
What do you say?
That's what Jurins being in this.
Yeah, Jurins is the same. Like, I think we're all like that here, though, other than Espin, who's the dumbest dumb person I've ever met. But
I'm a bit like that.
It's cool. So yeah, Nathaniel, talking about gyms, right? we have to say it because we start talking about it, we just have to say it. Rate your jeans. What is it? Give us a number.
I swear if you say anything less than 8.
I was literally about to say 7.5. I was about to say 7.5.
I was about to pull this drink on you, but I realized it's my screen that was.
All right, cool. I'll say fine. I'll say 8 then. I'll say 8. I would say as far as strength, yeah, I would say like if we go down like squat, I would actually genuinely say like 8.5 maybe, because the one thing I think that helped my squat was I didn't start doing low bar until March, so I got my squat to a 270 high bar. I don't think there's many 93s that can actually do a 270 high bar squat. I don't think there's many. So and I did that at 19. So yeah, squat. Bench, I would say like literally a 5, 6. Like I've had to work hard to get in my bench to this point now. And then deadlifts, I would say like 9. But then physique wise, I know that when I get lean, I look like quite good. But when I'm bulked, I think I look all right. But yeah.
I mean that's as long as you're leaner than Nathan. That's fine. So
Nathan's got back, man. He's just got all that fat in that area. Like his body fat's probably mad high, but he just carries it.
Savage that is. Man goes, he's built like Norbit. You can't say that.
No, I never said that. But you see the picture of him hugging his girl, the one that white. You know one of him hugging his girl. Like I almost started feeling way. You know, I saw that. I was like, yo, like. He's looking a bit mad.
But yeah, I know people might make a mistake. Anyway,
yeah.
Let's move on to comp now, mate. We're not going to touch the qualified. We'll touch the British because that's where the whole story started. Right? Yeah. The reason I'm going to touch, I'm saying the British is because at the British, you went up against the best this country can offer in your weight class at that age group. You went up against them. So leading to this comp, how did you approach in terms of like, okay, this is not a qualifier. I'm going to the British again, almost like at home at Gymshark. That's your environment. Do you know what I mean? So leading up to it, how did you actually prepare yourself? I'm not talking about the training itself, just mentally. How did you prepare yourself leading to it?
1 second.
That's all right.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So going into the British, I kind of not resigned myself to come second. Obviously, I really wanted to come second, but obviously I thought Jack was he'd been training for so much longer than I had. Like he was best sub-junior in the world before I'd even done my first powerlifting competition, like that type of stuff, right? So the level of experience difference is obviously crazy, but my training was obviously going really well. Like I'd switched from high bar to low bar. And that was starting to tread nicely. Deadlifting was just starting to figure out, because bear in mind, when we started prepping for British after that Nationals qualify, that I'd only been working with Owen for 6 weeks. So obviously we're still trying to 6-7 weeks. So we're still trying to figure out what we're doing together and whatnot. So deadlift started trending in the right direction. Bench started blowing up. But my bench getting from Bucks, where I was literally had the 3rd lowest bench, to now at Nationals, where I had the 3rd highest in my weight class, I think has made a huge difference, because I don't think powerlifting now is at the point where you can be like bad at anything, because it's just too many kilos to make up if you're bad at something. So I had to not be bad at bench anymore in order to make that up. But it was just a thing where obviously I had it in my head where I wanted to get to the internationals. I knew that I was going to be top two placings, but things just worked out in my favor to where Nathan didn't want to do Euros because his exact words were, I did Euros, I won it, and I didn't feel anything. So he doesn't want to do it again. And then Jack didn't want to do Worlds for some reason. So I ended up being able to do both. But going into the British, I feel like I'd gotten my mindset to the point now where, obviously I told you my first competition, I was finding it hard to just get my, embracing the suck type thing. So obviously going into British now, the mindset stuff was really handled, really just tried to do as well as I could. I mean, things didn't go perfectly on the day. I did go 9 for 9, but still obviously came with a good total. I think back at it now, literally, obviously, I came 3rd, right? But Oliver Pickwell tried to do 3-4-2, I think, and a half to come 3rd. He literally got so close to looking like, if he locked that out, I literally would not be European champion today, most likely, because I'm not going to probably get to the internationals from coming 4th at nationals. Do you know what I'm saying? So if he just locked that out, I'm literally not here today. So that's just one of the things, just anything can happen type of thing. But obviously after nationals, I was a bit disappointed. Not disappointed, but just obviously, I wanted to come second to get to internationals, and it was a bit up in the air. So it was one of them ones, but I just kind of kept working. And then Worlds as well was difficult because it was the lowest I'd ever gone into a competition ranked. I was 8th. So it's like I'd never want to just want to go there to make up the numbers, and like it just felt like hard to mentally motivate myself when I have the possibility of like coming 10th. Do you know what I'm saying? So that was just difficult. But yeah, like nationals was a big like learning experience, and I feel like that nationals where I like look back and I look at the videos and I feel like I'm seeing myself. When I look at my first qualifier that I did this year, it doesn't even feel like myself that I'm watching, because my mindset, I feel like it's such different. That's like still like influencer Nathaniel, I would say. Whereas like from nationals onwards, I would say is like now like powerlifter Nathaniel. Like that before was like Nathaniel the influencer trying to do powerlifting. Now I would actually call myself powerlifter. So
but again, I what you said that about the nationals in terms of like all this, that's the thing. Good thing I like about this sport, because anything can happen, right? The person that wins is not always the person that end up being the top at the end of the year. Do you know what I mean? There's always opportunity for you to, almost like I always tell people, almost keep yourself ready. You never know when the phone call will come for you to go and represent your country. And again, Nathaniel, you went from lifting on Instagram, right, as being an influencer, doing a qualifier, doing backs, and now almost to the point where the GB single is there for you to wear, right? Because me, I can tell you my first experience as an international if you want to hear it, but I want to hear more about you when that GB singlet dropped. Thinking you're actually fucking going to world.
No, also because the thing is, as I said on my first consultation call with Owen, it was like these were 2024 goals, because we just started working together. We started working together in January, and then Jason gave me the message in like, when was the squad session? Like May. So from January to May, go from literally only done 2 competitions before, never worked with a coach before, to then getting announced that you're going to be representing your country at Worlds was just mad. Like I remember because we did the GB squad session, and he sent out the message like that day when I was driving. I remember driving home and like almost getting emotional because it's happening so fast. Like and obviously you now have to like acclimate to that level and start training at that level. So yeah, no, this year's been crazy, but I feel like it's surprised people, but it's almost not surprised people at the same time, because I feel like people kind of always knew that I had this raw strength, but they didn't think I'd be able to put it together in this time. So I think that's the main thing, like the execution.
But you as well, the people that some people that have watched from far, as soon as you start working with Owen, I mean, I don't know about the guys on the podcast, but me, I did reach out to Owen to say, Owen, what's the deal here? And then when I spoke to him, then when I realized, oh shit, the kid got something in him. Do you know what I mean? And then that's when we start watching close. And I even followed him about then after talking to Owen. I was like, I need to follow him because I need to see what the fuck's going on in this training. So basically, don't get me wrong. People knew the raw strength you had. People knew how good you were. But people also have seen the work you put in it. As much as you've only been with Owen for like, what, half a year or so, you've been doing this for less than a year. But mate, you've put the work that probably people haven't been able to do for the 2-3 years they've been in the sport. Do you know what I mean? And then you've been lucky on the side as well with the injury. You don't end up like more like breaking his hip every single fucking 2 weeks. So do you know what I mean? So you've been lucky on that side. And then the hard work is there. Do you know what I mean? You need to sing the hard work. Not just like, oh, I'm strong, I go these reps. No, mate. The hard work is there, bro.
No, I think that was the main thing. And obviously, if you ask Owen, like, I would say my adherence has been other than like the touch and go bench I did at Gymshark, that one. Other than that, my adherence has actually been top notch. If I say so myself, I haven't been doing any crazy stuff. Like even after nationals, someone was like, "Oh, I should do try like 330 on a deadlift bar." And Owen literally screenshot sent to me like, "You are not doing this. Like, you're not doing it." But yeah, like. Do you want to like? Shall I touch on Worlds now or move forward to Worlds like Euros?
So before we move to World and Euro, guys, anyone have any question for?
I got a double-sided question. One's serious, one's a bit of a joke. So I'll do the joke one first. Do you have any hints and tips for people to grow their followers but not buy them? That's from Espin. And then second one.
Who said I bought followers?
Nah, Espin's been buying followers. We're trying to teach him how to naturally grow your following without having to resort to buying them.
Hold on, Indy. Nathaniel just bit that so quickly, bro. Did you buy followers though?
Yo, you bit though. Actually, yeah. How did I miss that bite, bro?
I never bought followers. What? Bro, my engagement is too good for me to have bought followers.
I was gonna say he's also got the
you
YouTube.
actually get
get,
likes
like,
on your posts.
His videos
and,
get
like,
a million. So I mean, like,
no, I could not.
One.
If I bought followers, I would get like 2% engagement. Do you know what I mean? You know them Instagram posts where it's just like hella like 1 follower people on the then you would know. But no, it's all real brothers on my page. Don't look at me. Look at that guy. Don't be looking at me. I don't want none of that around here.
And the genuine question is, what's been the biggest change that you've made that's like going from influencer to powerlifter that helped you make that jump and progress really well?
Like looking at yourself as a noob, like going genuinely back to ground zero, like not coming into it. Because obviously, I've been making YouTube videos since 2017. I would say I know how to make a good video. I know what to do. I know how to like make viral content and whatnot. I know how to do that. But when it comes to powerlifting, I am a novice. Do you know what I'm saying? You need to tell yourself that so that first of all, you can like start with a clean slate and then grow from there. If you try to think that you already know everything, then you're not going to do it. So like I had to embrace some of the unconventional stuff, for example, that Owen had me doing, like some of the other things like that, and just kind of go back to ground zero and just feel like on that. And then the other side of it was literally just like not just, I talked about embracing the suck earlier, but just like not shying away from hard work. Like obviously we all go to the gym, we work hard, but there's working hard and then there's training to be the best in the world at something. They're almost not the same type of training. They're not even comparable. I was having a conversation with someone, I'm actually not going to say the guy's name, but he's known as someone that just like, there's a lot of controversy in the powerlifting world and whatnot. Anyways, he was talking about how he does not think motivation is that deep.
No, this is a safe environment, man. You can say.
Yeah, no one's gonna know. We won't tell anyone.
No, it was name. It was name. You know the guys who Namor is? Namor.
Oh yeah, I know Neymar.
Yeah.
Espin's cousin.
He was basically he was basically saying how motivation is not that deep. Basically, that like powerlifters make it too big of a deal. Like you're just training and whatnot and da. But I came back to him and said, like, okay, I understand what you're saying, but there's a difference when you're just training and there's a difference when you're training to be the best in the world at something and then also trying to exceed your own expectations to beat another guy. Because for myself, I know that if I had not had the motivation of desperately wanting to beat Jack, I would not have got to this point. Because when I started with Owen, my total was 730, right? January. October, it's 810. That's not a jump that you would typically see from someone in that period, especially at that type of lows. No, we're not talking from like 500 to 580. We're talking 730 to 810. Do you know what I'm saying? So there was like it had to be a change in my mindset in order to even allow that to happen. Like even going for weights, even like if your training's going really well, but then going for weights which are so far beyond what you previously did, not like a year ago, like 2 months ago, and being able to get your head around that, like things like that. Like I feel like you definitely, it obviously motivation makes a difference in those regards, but some people obviously look at it like quite pessimistically that like with powerlifting, like it's not that deep, like you guys are making a big deal out of it. But I do think some people overcook it, like overdo the motivation side of things, but I do think it definitely makes a difference as well. Like I don't think you can just like say, oh, you're just training, it's not that deep or not, because then another guy's just training. So what's the difference between you and him? Like if you guys are like me and Jack Hoppers go to competition, we're neck and neck. I'm not saying my mentality was better than his, but if I wasn't like really motivated to beat him, I would not have beat him.
So, I was just gonna
especially had that experience as well. Go on, Mo.
100.
Yeah, I was just gonna say like it's literally, I don't know if there's like an Instagram post I saw recently. It was kind of saying like, no disrespect to Neymar. I like the kid. He's amazing. I've listened to his podcast and everything. But you don't take advice.
You're on SABADO now, bro. Calm down.
I'm trying to be political, right? But you don't take advice from people who are not the position you want to be.
Yeah.
Right. No disrespect to Neymar, but he's not at that top level. If you talk to anyone, our IPA Fords, if you talk to Jurins, if you talk to Indy, Espin on some days when he was a 66, you would see that. 66. You see that the people at this level, motivation is a big thing. You know, you're not turning up. It's not like you've said, it's not training. It's not going to the gym. I'm not going to the gym like other members of the public when they're going to train. And if it's a rest day, if they feel motivated or whatnot, I have a goal. Every single time you go to the gym, you have a plan, you have a goal, you need to progress towards something. And you don't progress towards something by just sitting on your ass and thinking, oh, this is not that deep. It's just powerlifting. You know, you need to have something loose. You know, in order to turn up day after day after day and keep on chasing that dream you have in your own head, right? So that's massive.
I think the thing is, though, I think he missed the target with what he tried to say. But I think I've had this conversation with the people in the past as well, and I think what he was hopefully trying to say
I've listened to Neymar. He says this a lot.
Motivation wanes, whereas discipline doesn't. Do you know what I think? I think if you look at it from that perspective, I totally get it, because like I'm not always motivated to get my session in a fucking garage by myself while looking at the wall. Like sometimes discipline gets you through where motivation doesn't. But also, like you said, on the flip side, you have to be motivated, especially coming into comps and stuff, to want to win, because discipline won't allow you to win a competition if you're going into it thinking, oh fucking hell, I've done all this training, but I don't think I'm going to win. Like, you got to have both.
No, because I said the same thing. Like, people obviously ask me, how do you stay motivated? And I said the exact same thing. It's not motivation, it's discipline and whatnot. But then I think the angle he was coming at was more so that, not that it's discipline over motivation, but that powerlifting isn't that deep in that sense, that you don't need motivation to do it. Like you're going to the gym, Like, the thing, if you think about it like that, then like, how do you go and beat someone who's better than you? Because you you need to, there's times where you genuinely need to go beyond like what you think you're capable of doing. And if you're not motivated, you have that mentality, you're not being able to do it. Like at Euros, for example, if we, because obviously we ended up having to load 3-4, obviously we'll talk about Euros properly, but we ended up having to load 3-4-2 for the win, which was like, I was fairly confident I would have done 3-4-2. Like my training was saying I was strong up to like 350, 352 or so, right? So 342, that should be calm. But if Malik had gotten that last deadlift, I would have had to do 355. I don't think I could have done 355. But if I had to walk up to a bar and lift 355 kilos, I'd need to pull some mental reserves from somewhere, not just go up to like, it's not that deep. It's just powerlifting. No, like it needs to be like, if there's a reason why on Eddie Hall's 500 kilo deadlift, he went to a psychologist to like initiate a scenario where it's like he's lifting a car with kids or whatnot. Like it is that deep if you're going to that absolute extreme. So yeah.
No, 100%. Like, show me a world champ. Show me someone who's at Sheffield. Show me someone who's bloody, touching 600 dots, any of the above, who doesn't have motivation, because it is that deep. Like, powerlifting's not like, it's not one of these sports where there's a lot of money. Do you know what I mean? Like, generally speaking, it's not like football and stuff like that. So you have to have that motivation. Yeah. It has to be that deep for you to want to compete.
In the grand scheme of things, powerlifting might not be that deep, but it has to be that deep for you. Like,
to win.
In your own mind, have to be like, okay, this is life or death. Do you know what I'm saying? Even though it is not life or death, that's what you need to tell yourself.
I think I don't want to say anything that will get me cancelled or anything that will come back to me, like, because people always find me as an easy target. But when anyone talk about, Nathaniel, when you have a conversation with someone like that, someone speak like that about the sport, is if I was you in your place, I would not even give you 20 seconds of my time to talk about it, because I look at my level where I am, I look at the level where you are. What's the point? You will never want to understand it because you're not in my level.
I'm not that mean, bro. I'm not that mean.
I mean, but sometimes, right? Sometimes the only way you can teach people a lesson, you need to be mean for them to learn.
That's true. I'm actually learning that as well. Because I would actually say I'm a fairly nice guy, but my problem sometimes is I'm not mean enough. So
you need to. But especially you're getting really strong. And I told you you're the future. Remember? I told you you're the future, mate. So you're getting really strong. So
yeah, you did say that. In that podcast, that specific podcast where you were like, oh, like the final's going to be nice for Junior King, and then Indy was like, oh, what about Jack? Obviously you were completely correct in that scenario. Yeah, Jack to that point had actually out-totaled me, but that just pissed me off so much that I was just like, why am I having?
That's what I do best, yo.
Why am I having to hear this? Like, because obviously in my head I'm like, yo, I know I'm gonna be that guy. But I just haven't done it yet. I just need to. I'm about to do it, but I haven't done it yet. And you were correct. I hadn't actually done anything yet, so I needed to prove it. And obviously, you saying that actually helped me get to that level. But obviously, at the moment, I was just like, "Why is this guy bringing up Jack? Like, no one said Jack." Like,
but that's gonna forever remain my mentality. Like, for example, just as an example, like Jesus, if someone comes up, and actually, you know what? Rondell brought it up in the King of the Lifts. The guy who won juniors, he's like, I'm going to be where you are. And I'm like, that's good. But coming from Randall's position, if you're here and someone here saying, I'm going to be there, like, I understand the motivations, but I also understand the disrespect the person who's ahead's going to take from the person saying, I'm going to overtake you. Do you know what I mean?
After I won Euros, yeah, the Italian guy that got deadlift silver, he was like, as I walked off, like from doing the deadlift, he came to me and was like, oh, like basically asking if I was aging out next year. And he was like, and I was like, no, I'm 20. He was like, oh, I'm going to beat you next year. I was like, what? I just won, bro. What are you talking about? Like,
you see the disrespect.
He was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to beat you next year. I was like, all right, cool.
I love that though. You know what? Shit like that always, because it only
I stepped off the platform, like just from the 3-5-4-2. I walked to the back and he asked me that question, and then he's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to beat you next year. And I'm like, what?
What you should have said to him, look, next year I'll be here, mate. Turn up on form. Do you know what I mean? And I want you to go 9 for 9 as well. So don't go for 6. You know, you should have just. I think you didn't go 9 for 9 anyway, the Italian guy. Well, I mean, I think what you should have said that, oh, you went 6 for 9 today. Next year, turn out 9 for 9. Do your best, and I'll beat you again. So simple. Do you know what I mean? You need to humble certain people, because what I get things like, oh, Mr. Jurins Kengamu, I know you don't know me. You've never met me. You've never heard about me. But at this date, at this time, I'm going to beat you. I'm going to total more than what you've done. And I will do something you've never done in your life. And I was just, okay, I'm just going to wait for you in the next junction then for me and you to have a cup of tea. Bastards. Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
But it's funny though, isn't it? I love that shit. Because like the amount of people who say, yo, I'm coming for this. I'm like, cool. It always makes me laugh because they're always coming for where you are. But you know what I mean? Not where you're going to be. Yeah. No, and that always makes me laugh.
I remember you saying that with your deadlift.
Bro, like, the amount of people.
You're not still gonna be at 386 by the time that they touch 386.
It fucking makes me laugh because like the amount of people like 386, I'm like, good luck.
Yeah.
Pull 386, bro. Like pull 386
last week.
Oh fuck it, I'll double it again. Like it's just that weird mentality of like I don't know what it is. It's a sub 100 GL mentality.
No, but so thing is though, I feel like you need it from both sides. Like you need to be at a certain level, see someone ahead of you, and be like, "I'm coming for you." But then obviously the person still needs to like have it in the head where it's like, "No, I'm going to be too far ahead." Like both person is right to feel that way, because I remember I was like one of the first proper sessions I did, and Nathan was there. I went to Crayford, and I literally said to him, "It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna break your total record." And then he's like, "But what if it's 840?" And I was just like. Because realistically, by that time, I know I'm not doing 80-40 at that point. But he was talking about that for the end of this year. So I love Nathan, but
the thing is like Nathaniel, at the moment, right? Let me say this. Let me say some controversial shit
let him. He was about to send for Nathan. You interrupted.
You can't interrupt, man.
I wasn't sending for him. I'm just saying.
Nathan, he just sent for you.
I'm glad he didn't do 840. Well, that's what he said to me when I told him I was going to beat his total record.
The record? The record is 812.5. You've done 810. So you're not
815.
815. Oh, my mistake.
Bro, I could have beat it if I had to. If I had to look,
we also that
350, but I didn't have to.
Free soundbite, yeah, buddy.
But do you think that record is weak?
The 815.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say weak, because when he did that, he had like the highest GL at Nationals that year. So how can you say it's weak? But I don't know. It's hard to say. All I'm saying is next juniors, yeah. Oh, wait, actually, this is actually what my goal for next year, yeah. My goal for next year is to be the best 93, no matter the age class. So even the Open. That's my goal for next year. So
you know who's the best? You know who's the best 93?
That's Christian. Okay. Yeah, that's Christian. And obviously, he's going to appreciate me saying this, because I know this is going to put some fire in him, and he's going to go do what he needs to do. But I'm just saying, that's my goal for next year. So obviously, in my head, like, that 815 now, I want to make that look like child's play by next Nationals. But I have to obviously now go and do that. But I know that, for example, at Euros, my absolute top end was probably like 830, 825. So hopefully, with more work and whatnot going into Nationals, that we can show that, do you know what I'm saying? But obviously, there were some things that happened. We also didn't need it on the day. So it was just, obviously, you pull what you need. You don't like add some extra kilos because I want to beat Nathan's record. That's literally what almost like was going through my head at that point as well. Owen was like 340, 342, and I was like, bro, but 345 British record. He's like, bro, you don't need British record. Like, what are you talking about? But yeah.
See, if it was your final year as a junior, I'll be like, possible, yeah, crack on. But because you got some time,
I got 2 years.
I respect that. Owen made the right decision.
So if you're going to be the best 93 in the country, no matter what age group next year, then I feel sorry for Sadcock and Nathan then. Because
but the thing is, yeah, I know.
What did you say?
He said Sadcock.
He said Sadcock.
I said Hadcock.
That's rude. I thought we were letting that go. That's rude.
That's so rude, bro. Shit, you thought I was going to let that slide? James, disrespect.
No, all I'm saying, but the thing is, it's precisely what I said to you earlier, yeah? I don't have an excuse not to. Nathan's a lawyer. These guys are working normal jobs. I'm an influencer. So if I have this potential, why am I not doing it? I mean, because obviously, okay, what do you guys think the best 93s in the country are going to do next year? Yeah? Let's say like what? 850, let's say. Maybe.
Okay.
I see if you want a healthy Christian.
Honest, a healthy Christian will do 860, 870.
You think Christian will do 870?
Yeah, 860, 870. Because me and Indy was in the training, so yeah.
Rain check on that one then. Rain check on that one. I was going off of Christian's best total, which was 847.
No, that's 842.5. That's probably Christian can hit that after his maybe first deadlift.
What are you saying?
Rain check there.
Calm down.
But obviously he's got to do it.
I'm talking about come next year. No, I'm talking about come next year if he's healthy. 842 Christian can hit it with his first or
Christian,
second deadlift.
Well, the reason why I'm saying calm down is because Christian, just talking based off the data before Indy starts ripping me to shreds.
I hate that term, you know. I wish I'd shit on that term if I could.
Christian tends to take big jumps from his second to third. He's not going to do such a thing. I think Christian's top end, right? You could talk maybe 310, 305 squat, 205 bench, 360, 365 deadlift. That puts him
205 bench.
Yeah.
205 bench.
Did you see his bench this weekend?
Bro, I saw it. 190 triple.
Bro, you looking at the data like this?
What would you give him for bench? What would you give him for bench? 210.
Bro, I don't do data. I back my boys. That's it.
But what are you gonna give him for bench?
No, wait, hold on. But wait. You guys said 8, but
But that's 875.
Keiko's record is 888. Thing is, I think Christian's hard. I think Christian's sick. But if he does 870, yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But I gotta do something for that guy. If he's gonna do 870 next year, yeah. If he actually does that, yeah, I'll be like, all right, cool, he's the king. But he's already the king. He is already the king.
Yeah,
but
he has the potential for 860 to 870 at
Euros. My goal
at the Euros, not next year, Nathaniel. At the Euros in 6 weeks.
I believe in him. I believe in him. But no, that was my going off of this year of lifting, right?
Yeah.
Where the best total this year in 93s was 827. That was Christian's Worlds. Mm-hmm. That was the best total of a 93 this year.
No, 830 British.
830. My mistake. 830. That's what I thought my top end was for this Euros. Absolute top end. I think absolute top end was 295 squat, 182 bench, and 352 dead. That was my top end, and that's 830. So obviously now going forward into next year, I'm like, all right, cool. If that was my top, obviously I did 810. So that's shoulda, coulda, wouldas. But obviously, you as a lifter know around what your absolute top end could be. So now, if I'm going into next year and I'm still, my training age in terms of powerlifting is way lower than these guys, I'm like, yeah, I've got no reason why I can't be the best. So that's going to be my goal for next year. Yeah. Christian's going to do that. He will do that. And then that's more motivation for me. And do you know what I'm saying? So, but that's what we need at the end of the day. I know me saying this, he's going to hear that and be like, cool. And he's going to do it.
I think we need that, Nathaniel. Don't get me wrong. I know the problem we have in Britain is when someone speaks a little bit, you think that person is arrogant or trying shit. But we need a competitiveness mindset for us to get against the top in the world, the best in the world. Because at the moment we're sitting here, we're talking about the top hand in Britain being 80-60. We have got American totaling fucking 880, 890. Do you know what I mean? We have got Emil there hitting close to 880 and Gustav 880 plus. So why can't we be like them? The only way we can be like them we need to challenge each other here. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think by British in March, I think I can do a 300 plus squat. I think like a 190 bench, and near like, it depends how my deads go, but between like 355, 360, and I'll be like 845, 850. So I that's what I genuinely think I can do. And if I do that next year, then I've got no reason why going into Worlds I shouldn't be in the favorites. It's
possible. I mean, the hard work you're putting on it is possible. And then sometimes it's good to back yourself with these numbers. Do you know what I mean? Because you're working for them, so you rather see the result. I know people will listen to this. They will probably think like, oh, no, he ain't touching that. But the reality is, look at your progress where you started. No one thought you'd get to 810.
In March, right, the comp I did in March, I squatted 262, benched 167, and did it for 317. And in Euros, squatted 290, bench 177, I was injured, and then did it for 342. And that's been in the space of how many, March to October, what's that? 7 months? That's 7 months.
Pretty quick.
Mm-hmm. So, obviously,
but don't worry. But also, Nathaniel, one thing you need to bear in mind, I'm not going to try to lower you down here in terms of expectation. Weight is absolute. Powerlifting, the progress is not always linear.
Oh, no, I know it's not going to be linear. I know it's not going to be... No, I 100% know it's not going to be linear. But even in the expectations I set for myself, it's not. I'm not going off of linear. Like, I know my squat's things are going to slow down. I think my bench is really going to pick up because I'm now healthy, changed my form to like the more general powerlifter form, legs narrower, like close together, constant leg drive, whatnot, stopping my ass coming off, which is what happened at Worlds. And then now, like me being healthy and whatnot going forward, I definitely think my bench is gonna see some bigger strides than before. But other than that, like I understand. But I also
I've got a question for you before you go.
Jurins, before you.
No, hold on, Mo, just this one, and then we'll end with yours, and then we'll move to Euro. How are you gonna grow some calves, bro? Because you got some skinny calves, mate.
How are you gonna find shots at man's calves, bro?
I started, yo. Okay, first of all, as a fellow black man, I didn't expect this kind of treatment from you. So, you know, you don't always have it nice over these sides, right? You know that, first of all. Secondly,
I'm just saying because I ain't got none. That's why.
Secondly, yes, the answer is yes. I started calves this week. So.
Because now you know what, it makes sense though. Actually, I back it because like I just typed your name into Google and all the pictures are like waist up.
Wait, let me check myself. Wait, hold on. Wait.
Oh God! Welcome to SABADO, my friend.
Oh man,
it is. You know, you got like that. You got that CJ angle of like waist up.
There's one. I saw one leg picture. Two.
You know, in Google images, bro. Come on. I've got tiny calves, and all that means is you can get tighter sleeves on. So
exactly,
it's a win.
Literally, and do you know what I think as well? It's like tactical maths. If I had wham calves, how much is that really going to add to my total? Versus if I put those extra muscle fibers on my lats or my legs.
It's true. You know what I mean? It's true because like tactical. Mo has big calves, and look at his squat.
My squat is pointless.
He squats way more than me, so I can't say nothing.
But I'm 21, bro.
He's like 10 or 20 kilo heavier than you, bro.
Yeah, remember, he's in the 880 class. So
anyway,
what was your question? Go
on. I'm not going to lie to you. I can't remember anymore.
If you remember,
I've got a question.
Oh, no, I remember now. I know you seemed tied to the 93 kilo class and you started off as a 93. How tall are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Just around 5'10", like 5'9" and
3/4. 5'10". Let's say you handle business or you do whatever you want to achieve or get close to your goals in next year. Would you ever consider going to the 105s? Because
that's what I think is like more than likely going to happen 2025 at latest 2026 when I move to Opens. Because first of all, as far as the UK goes, we start tapering off in terms of our general impressiveness, let's say. We got past 83s and 93s. Our 83s and 93s have done really well this year. Our 105s haven't done as well. Obviously, we've got a lot of strong guys coming up now, but I feel like myself as a 105, at least on a domestic level, it would be calm. But then on an international level also, the guy that won Euros this year did 8:47, that won the 105s in my class. So I personally think with 6 months and me being able to bulk 10 kilos, I'm 847 is getting blown out. So, but I don't want to do that next year because I feel like I want to win the world championship in juniors first. I want to win a British. I want a British. I've won Euros before I won British. Do you get me? I need to get
balance
those
out,
tick those boxes, and then we'll obviously speak to Owen and then see. But also because I feel like I'm finding it hard to gain mass now because I've been like main gaining for the longest time, and obviously as time goes on, the more you actually genuinely need to bulk to put on kilos. Do you know what I mean? Of actual muscle. Like main gaining kind of works, but I've been around the same main gaining weight for like almost 3 years now. Do you know what I mean? So other than when I've gone on cuts. The one thought I actually did have is last year when I cut, I got down to 87. If I just literally cut 4 more kilos, walk up 4 more kilos, I could have been at 83. And then I could would have been interested to see what I could have done at 83, but I would have broke my leg in half.
Be careful what you say. Be careful what you're saying coming to the 83, bro.
I'm not saying no. There's no way I'm going. The only way I would come to 83 conceivably is if I decide to do a bodybuilding show, like whilst powerlifting. If I decide to do a bodybuilding show and I'd probably have to cut down to like 80, 79, then I would do 83s just because why not? But other than that, no chance. I like eating.
I'm gonna say because like
do you think you can beat Joey Shaw at 83?
I think I could beat Joey Shaw at 83. I genuinely do think I could have beat.
But he's coming 93 anyway, isn't he?
That guy don't know what he's doing. He don't know what he's having for breakfast tomorrow. There's no way he knows what he's doing coming to 93s, bro. Joey so the main predicament for him is obviously he's my boy, but so as I said, the main predicament for him is he has to basically take 2 steps backwards before he has to take 1 step forwards. So obviously right now he's European champ, British champ, whatnot at 83s, and he's building social media partially off of that. But he knows now if he comes to 93s, by juniors, right, which is only, 5 months away, he's not beating me and he's not beating Jack, even if he moves to 93s. He knows that. So he'd have to go from being European champ to then not even necessarily being locked in for international selection in his first year. So I feel like that's going to be hard for him to deal with, especially with doing social media as well. I feel like that's a big aspect. He says he thinks he'll beat me in 2025, and if he moves 93s. But the longer he stays at 83, the harder it's going to be for him. Because realistically, he should be putting on those kilos now, but he's probably not going to. But I could be because he said after Euros he's like, not even before, he was like 60% staying at 83s, 40% moving up. But he should be moving up, but I don't know if he'll do it because I feel that's going to be not mentally hard to deal with, but like, as far if we're looking at socials and whatnot, it don't look as good. You got what I'm saying? Even though it makes the most sense.
He can stick around for business. Business-wise, the decision is simple. Stick around, do what you need to do. Yeah. Powerlifting is a long-term sport.
Because the thing is, if he sticks, 83s is much more short-term gratification because next year, Max is out, he's aged out, so that's not even going to be a problem. But even then, I don't think on Joey's best day, but if they both have good days, Max wouldn't beat him. But next year, he'll probably still win 83s in juniors. He'll probably still at least in the top 3 at Worlds. And those are almost guarantees, unless he like messes up. Those are not guarantees at 93. So it's going to be tougher to be like, do I want to take 2 steps backwards before I can take a step forward?
Yeah. So Max is aging out.
Max is aged out, yeah. But to be honest, keeping it real, like Joey did 7.72.
Yeah.
Yeah,
7.72.5.
Yeah, at Euros, Max is not doing 7.72. Max only managed to beat Joey at Worlds because he had a bad day, pretty much.
Yeah, we know. We saw that. So he's aging out. Okay, he's aging out to go 93. He's not staying at 83, right? Because
Max, he walks around a comfy 82, so who knows?
Okay, that would be a lot of L to collect right there. But anyway, moving on.
I'm just looking forward to seeing Nathaniel against CJ in the 105s.
That's what I'm saying, because you made a valid point where you said.
I spoke to Pape about it at Euros, and he was like, just wait a bit, because I'm one of the last good white guys that Britain has. So just wait a bit, and then calm. It'll be a 120 by then.
I think
Pape can't be a what, bro? Can you imagine Pape at 120? He'll be the same height lying down.
He's 5'8".
You know the funny thing,
man already looks like a circle. He'll literally look like a fucking circle.
I was talking to Christian about this, right? I know this is a bit controversial, but I was thinking about British powerlifting. I was like, wow, when you come 2024, 2025, or even 2026, you can barely see any white men on the team. Everybody, the team will be there for the...
What are you on about? Is Tony? What's Tony?
That's Tony. Tony's
Bob,
still there.
Bob, only this if he decided to do Raw, because Tony can go equipped.
Yeah, but Tony's going to stay Raw. Don't be silly.
Tony's going to stay Raw. After the whole Bob Matthew drama.
So Indy, you don't believe in yourself?
Well, I'm not. He's still going to be one of the top lifters. What do you mean? You said you're not going to see any of them in the top lifters. He's still going to be a top lifter.
No, I said in the team. The team.
There's going to be 2 120s going. Let's be honest.
Tony, there's going to be. Well, Indy, are you white now? Or?
Bro, might as well be. Look at this. That's why I got beard. You get me? I'm hiding my face. Hey, put me around.
Tony Pape Dillon. Yeah, that's 3.
Wow. Okay.
That's the natural progression of some type 2 muscle fiber sports, though. Can't lie, that's life. What, the NBA in the 50s or 40s was all white guys, and now it's all black guys. That's just life, bro. That's just life.
they just have to live with it.
It happens.
Anyway,
why is Espin so quiet in the corner there? It'd just be him and Delaney doing salsa dancing.
Moving on to the Euros. Let's kill time quickly, guys. Moving on to the Euros. I know the world first was before Euros. Again, as I mentioned, first GB singlet, you're going to World. Mate, you're not going to Euro, you're going to World Championship, right? You will be on the bloody Olympic channel. I know you're an influencer. These plays a massive part on you. Bloody Olympic channel.
No.
We didn't get that.
Yeah, juniors don't get Olympic channel.
You guys got
they don't. So that means, Nathaniel, now you know, as an influencer, you know the goal. Next year, turn up to the British in the seniors. Get your total. You're going to be on not in the Olympic channel, mate, on the Eurosport. You remember what my dad watched him in the Eurosport in South Africa? He was in Africa. You see, that's my name there on the screen. That's me. They want to know, that's your son. No, that's my name. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's mad.
So anyway, talking about it. So, mate, talk us through the experience of you going to World, because it's a World Championship.
Yeah.
Different things.
So Worlds, obviously, 8-ish weeks out from Worlds, it was getting a bit rough because of what I talked about earlier in terms of finding it hard to motivate myself because I didn't even know if I would do well, basically. That was getting rough. But then as soon as we started to ramp things up and whatnot, that was pretty much out of the picture. People asked me about it. I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to come like 6th, 7th, maybe top 5, like around there. But obviously we get to Worlds now, and then I walk into the warm-up room and basically poop my pants. Like, not literally, like just seeing all the lifters there from all the countries and like looking at myself as a first time. This is my 5th powerlifting competition ever. And then it's just be like, it was just like one of those moments where I literally turned to Owen and was like, I'm nervous right now. Like, I had to literally say it to him. It was like hard, yeah, it was a bit difficult there. But then we got into it and it was fine. I was obviously Worlds wasn't a perfect day. We went 6 for 9. We had bench issues. First one, my rack, I racked it before the judge said, and then the third one, my ass came off. So those were kilos lost. But then we move on to deadlifts, and then people were dropping left and right. And I mean, obviously, I'm only looking at myself. But I think obviously the competition was good. But if you look at it as a straight competition, it was dead. Like you guys said it there, like just 6. Media said it. 6 out of the 27 93s at Worlds got their last deadlifts. Like that's whack. But yeah, guys dropping left, right, center. Boom. We get to the last deadlift, and Owen comes to me and he's like, do you want to go for first or you want to go for second, right? Because if he it would have been 350. If he loaded 350, I would have beat Nathan. And I still think in my heart sometimes, what if I just loaded that 350? I could literally be world champion right now. So that hurts occasionally. But other than that, I went and I said second. So we loaded 340 and then got that, right? Literally, I've never had as much of a like overwhelming reaction as I had on that one. And then literally 4 guys after that went to take either my deadlift medal or total medal, and they all failed. And then boom, I was literally third in the world, first international. Had no idea what was going on. It was just like it was one of them kind of like pinch me moments, but it also didn't really sink in because it didn't feel like it was even on the cards really. No, it didn't feel like on the cards, but it was just
you weren't expecting it.
Yeah, so unexpected. And yeah, so then obviously carrying that into Euros, other than Malik, I kind of feel like I was the guy to beat going into that. Because the thing with incognito guys like Jack is that you actually never know what they're doing. Like those guys that don't post their training. And so sometimes you actually end up overestimating what they're going to do because obviously you want to deal with the worst case scenario. So I was like, all right, worst case. And it doesn't help as well when you have their friends like just blowing smoke up their bum because, for example, Jack's friend Theo, yeah, I did my last squat dead session before Worlds there. And he basically, I asked him, who do you think's going to win out of me and Jack? And he said Jack. And I was like the first person that said to my face he thought Jack was going to beat me, yeah. So that was one of the ones where I was like, all right, cool. And then I was like, what do you think Jack's going to do? And he was like 8:30. That's what he said he thought Jack was going to do. Because bear man, I'm not seeing training other than like one clip that someone, I'm not going to name the name, showed me from their group chat. Other than that, I'm not seeing training. So he's saying 8:30. I'm like, bro, he's not doing 8:30. But regardless, you're still kind of overestimating what the guy's going to do because you're not seeing what they're doing. But anyways, I thought he could maybe do like 8:20 tops, right? But I still thought my top end was higher. So I did think I was the man to beat. Obviously, we have Malik, right, who was ahead of me. But that guy just doesn't know how to hold a deadlift, pretty much. He's going to learn, but up until this point, can't hold a deadlift. And I've heard it's a mental thing because he did like 320 in training strapless. But apparently, the French coach was saying this.
340, man. He did 340 with straps.
That was his straps, yeah.
Yeah. But so apparently he's going to learn hook grip now. So if he does, I could be toast. But we got to prepare for them regardless. But yeah, so obviously going into Euros now, I do think I can win, but deep down, I don't know if I'm really going to. Like, even when I was writing my 1 day out caption, like I was unsure if I wanted to say that I was trying to win because if I didn't win, I didn't want people to be disappointed in me. Do you know what I mean? Like even little things like that, I think deep down, you don't know if you can do it. But then we get to Euros now, and everything was fine other than the day off, which is just rubbish. Like literally, I wake up, I'm like 2 kilos overweight. I was like 2 kilos overweight the night before. So then tried to go back to sleep. Literally, I like consistently when I'm prepping for competitions, like go to the toilet like twice a day, right? Now it's the one day I can't take a dump. I just can't get it out of me. When I need to lose kilos, I just can't poop, yeah? So I'm just there like, how am I going to lose 2 kilos? And I'm having to go to the sauna like 2 hours before weigh-in, yeah? Sweating out, checking weight, sweating out, checking weight. And I was like, all right, cool. Let me just make sure I leave. Whatever I need to do, make sure I leave the correct weight. So we got down to basically 93, went there, but I felt a bit zapped. Like, I feel like I did take it out of me, but in the time frame, that was really the only thing I could do. Part of that is on me. My nutrition when I got to Budapest was not what it needed to be. The main hotel where it was, the food in that hotel was whack, and then the food in the area was whack. Like delivering. So I literally had like McDonald's the night before, probably held on to more sodium than I should have.
Bro, top tip. I'm telling you now, it will save your ass, especially if it's nutrition. Have you ever seen those the airtight food package machines?
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Cook your chicken, whatever you need to do, whack it in there, airtight it. They'll put it in the fridge for you, microwave it for you as well.
I need to do that.
That's what I do. As a veggie, it's impossible for me to get food at any hotel.
Yeah. And I probably need to start getting Airbnbs like that so I can cook. Because relying on the food in these areas and like, I mean, where's Uni Worlds, for example? Where's that?
Slovenia.
You have no idea what the food's going to be like in Slovenia. So it's like, you don't want to rely on that. But anyway, that was my
Apparently that's supposed to be nice though, because it's supposed to be like in some ski resort thing that we heard.
Just so you know, you can't take food anymore from here to the EU.
You can.
You can't.
You got to put it in your thing, in your actual suitcase, not your handle.
No. But
hand luggage.
The thing is that, an example, if you fly with Ryanair, where you have to put it on board.
Yeah, this is your first mistake. Is you're flying with Ryanair.
Just buy the ticket.
Who the fuck is flying with Ryanair, bro?
But just to check anyway.
Ryanair to Worlds.
Yeah, I know, bro.
Even if it's your bag to check in,
be flying Ryanair.
Even if it's your bag to check in, if you get stopped, it's literally illegal. You can't bring any veg or meats in. We got stops, and now I'm on the fucking ban list as well. If I bring,
you don't bring veg.
You're on the ban list for chicken and rice.
Bro, imagine a Hispanic guy, from all the drugs that I could have been done for, I got done for asparagus and lean beef.
That's mad. But Nathaniel, again, what you said there, that's the experience of doing an international, right? Because people just think when you go to international, you perform, and people just think, oh yeah, your performance will whack, and you don't understand what we go through. There's no food. Sometimes there's no language. All of these crap goes on. Do you know what I mean? And plus, you live
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say, like, for juniors, it can be rough, but like for open team, with the way the last two Worlds have been, we have been in a nice location where you can access food. For Worlds, Euros can always be a mess, but if you do get into the open team and you do get to experience open internationals, it's a lot more structured, and hopefully you wouldn't have this hassle of trying to find out.
Open is a dream.
Yeah, let me ask you that next year when we're in Lithuania and you can't find whatever you want to eat.
Romania was good. You know, Worlds was actually good, surprisingly. I preferred Romania to Budapest, you know, in that regard. But it was also partially due to location. The hotel, obviously, we were in Cluj for Worlds, and we were just in the middle of the city. It's like a uni city even. So yeah, a bunch of stuff around there. But the first approved hotel, which what I was staying in for Euros, was like really out of the way, like 30 minutes away from the center of Budapest. So you're kind of in the sticks, and it's like there's like not much around it. So yeah, that was rough. But yeah, so obviously felt that a bit in my legs going into Euros. That's why I think partially why you saw the 290 score instead of maybe a bit more. One guy told me I should have tried to spit out a kilo in 2 hours. Do you, man, think that's possible? A kilo in 2 hours.
There's people that do it, man. People do some shit, bro.
No, not kg though. I've never heard of someone spitting out a kg.
I have to spit out 2 of these. How is that?
I did spit in Malta, and I think I want to say I got maybe 0.5 out.
No, what you got was cramp.
In how long? How long did it take? Wait, how long did that take?
That took half a day. So I started in the morning.
Half a day? I had 2 hours.
Yeah, no, that's a lot. That's a lot of spitting.
You're not spitting out 2 of these in 1 hour.
You're just like an amateur when it comes to it, because Mikey Davis did a kilo in
yeah, I'm not good with
a kilo of spit.
Let me not say that.
How are you getting a kilo?
Let me not say that.
You're on about, is he a hippopotamus?
No,
but
you know
how much a kg of spit is? It's a liter bottle.
Bob, I don't know how long he's been doing it. I saw the bottle. I was like, if you come close to that bottle, I will speed.
Yeah. Also, Emil did it at Malta too. I think his bottle was big. Like, I think he was on his second bottle.
I'm not lying, bro. People do
I'll take sauna, bro. I'll take sauna, fam.
I'll take sitting lighter. I'll be honest with you. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, no. So one thing going into going into Euros was that was the heaviest I was comfortably sitting. I was sitting like 96. So squats felt great. Like, I don't know if you guys saw my 282, my last squat I did before Euros. That literally flew. Like that. If I had that same Nathaniel there, if I had just done a gym PR the next week, I'd probably have done 295. But then at Euros, with having to sauna beforehand, with all of that stuff, do you know what I'm saying? We end up with 290, but that was still fine. But anyways, we got there, but for some reason, the whole day, I just felt a little bit weird. I think starting the day so stressfully with that kind of set me off on a bit of a weird one. Like if you ask like Ben or Owen, like both of them tell you I was on a bit of a weird one that day. But anyways, we get to bench now, and obviously, leading up to Euros as well. Leading up to Euros, I injured my pec like 3.5 weeks out, and that almost made me want to drop out. I'm not gonna lie. It was only by virtue of me really needing to beat Jack, so that guys like Indy could stop saying that, was the only reason why I did Euros.
You want me to say it again next year?
No, go on, say it again next year.
He's beating him already. All you should say next year is.
Technically, it's actually 2-1, you know, because I beat him last box. So technically, it's 2-1. But other than that,
I think so your world and Euro experience that you spoke through there, like your deadlift at World, the only thing it came near to, it was the experience that we had with Christian at the Euros. Right? Every time I talk about this, people think I'm just blowing smoke out Christian's ass, because people were not there. I've never seen, I know people lifted at Sheffield, but more have a Sheffield experience. That's different, right? But on a powerlifting meet, when a lifter doesn't have the deadlift in them, but they load 10 kilo more than what they ever thought they would pull, right? And that's what Christian happened at the Euros of Christian, the 360. Because if you ask Christian now, he will tell you 350, 355 was there. But the 360, he will tell you, fuck off. I don't want to die with it. But because again, what we said, we're talking about there, that the crowd, us being around, the motivation, that's what gave him that deadlift. And you, on that third deadlift the world, because anyway, you knew that, okay, if I pull this, I'm podium. You know what I mean? I'm on the podium if I pull this.
I think that was what added that, because I would say that was the most that was the biggest reaction I had and the audience had and my social media has probably had to a deadlift. And it was obviously the context. It was that led me to being third overall, that tied for the highest deadlift at that point. Everyone left, right is dropping. As I said, 6 out of 27 guys got their last deadlift, right? And I'm one out of that 6. And I probably, other than Nathan, had the most impactful out of that 6. You know what I'm saying? So that was one of those moments. But that was one of those ones where you kind of go past what you think you're capable of. Even though I thought I could live 340, just within that context. So going into Euros now, I was so confident. Especially coming out last as well. The confidence you get coming out last on deadlifts and knowing that you're going to decide the meet is different level.
No, not everyone will come last and decide that. You guys are lucky because you haven't got a squat.
I was gonna say, bro, you're speaking to 2 other people in there.
No, yeah, but you might know what I'm talking about. Because one big problem at Worlds as well was I just felt so not strong. Do you know what I'm saying? Not actually how I felt, but because squats at Nationals, I had the second highest squat. At Worlds, I had the 8th. Nationals, I had the 3rd highest bench. Worlds, I had the 14th. Do you know what I mean? You're going through the whole meet, just yo, I'm moving. And then you get to deadlifts, and they're like, okay, cool, it's my time now. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously 340 was the highest lift that day. But then obviously at Euros now, managed to get a squat medal as well. And then coming out last, I was just so much more confident at Euros. Euros, like I said, I think I could have put everything up to 352.
Yeah. We saw it from your deadlift, your last deadlift. The squat, to me personally, I think the squat you had more in that. You know what I mean? That 290 squat at Euros. I looked at it, I was like, he had a little bit more. And 5 would have been there.
But as I said,
300 would be the
sauna. You can see the effect of sauna on my legs because I found a new sticking point. I never have a second sticking point in my squat. But
your legs were dry as well, you know, and you can tell. You were
Yo, man didn't have the cocoa butter that day, man. Yo, I swear, Jurins is actually. I'm not gonna say the word on the podcast because Jurins is one of them black guys who like to draw you out in front of the non-black guys. And if you know what that word is.
Yo, I wouldn't take anything about Jurins, about cocoa butter. Have you ever seen SBD Storm? You know, the grey colour.
Oh yeah.
I thought Jurins was wearing that, but he didn't have anything on his knees. His weekend gone. So I wouldn't take lip from Jurins about dry knees, bro.
I hear you guys. I hear you. We're talking about Nathaniel here, not me. Exactly. We have an influencer here. Let's take advantage.
First it was carbs, yeah. Now it's dryness. What is it going to be next?
Bro,
my hair's picky or something.
Do you know what?
Jurins loves standing for, man. I don't know what it is.
Man, as long look, you're a pretty boy. You don't look like a Dorocho, bro. So you're good. Right? You're good. So anyway, you're a strong boy as well. I only take the piss at people that are strong. People that are weak, I don't have time for them.
Now, what do you mean? You take the piss out of Espin all the time?
I was waiting. I was like, right, when is he going to say it?
But Indy, I have to make Espin relevant. I have to bring him in. Even if
I've got to stop, man. I got to stop because I can't be doing this to people whose GL points begin with a 9 and only have 2 digits on.
Hey boys, and just wait. I compete in 4 weeks. There's going to be so many memes after that. Don't worry. You guys are going to have a lot.
if you compete in 4 weeks.
If I make it.
Boys, we killed a lot of time. So Nathan's birthday and Nathaniel's birthday today. So let's not keep him for long. Any last question,
happy
guys?
Birthday.
Happy birthday, man.
Appreciate that.
Any last question, guys, from Nathaniel? Any last question?
Well, I've just got one last question.
Wait, we need to hear the ending of the story, man.
Oh yeah, we ain't even finished Euros yet. You can't lie. We ain't finished Euros.
Okay, go on.
I think we had too much fun on this podcast because we've actually barely talked. We have not talked about what we were supposed to talk about. That's how it's supposed to be.
Go on, mate. Go on.
Formulaic stuff, but yeah. Anyways, obviously, bench, cool. So obviously had that injury. But things are feeling a lot better. So we just opened slightly less than we wanted to. or not less than 112, but slightly lighter than worlds, and kind of just took a 7.5 kg jump. Then I did 175. That 175 to 177, I was a little annoyed at Owen for doing that because I felt like my 175 warranted more than 177. And I know that I'm going to have to pull last. I don't want these guys to push me too far. I know the way the GB coaches are, I feel like they will sandbag you unless it's for a placing. And if it's for a placing, they will tell you to pull 10 kilos more than what you ever think you could pull. That's how I just feel like the GB coaches are in general, right? They will go mad. They'll kind of not underestimate you, but yeah, they'll sandbag you unless it's for a placing. So I knew if it was for like the championship, whatnot, and it was say 355, Owen might still look at me and like, yo, you're gonna be champion though. Like, and I don't want to do a deadlift that I don't think I'm capable of doing. So that was partially the problem bench, but then it was fine after that. Me and Owen were actually almost arguing from that point onwards the whole time, just about everything. Like, it was just even the maths. Like, I was saying we needed 17 and a half. He was like, we need 15, and then he was doing the maths, and then it was just one of them ones. But anyways, we got to deadlifts now, and then Malik obviously dropped his second, dropped his third. They even upped his third so that I would have to pull 355 because 352, as I said, I think I could pull, but 355, I genuinely don't know about that. Obviously, it's only a 2.5 kilo difference, but I don't know if 355 was in my locker that day. But he missed that one, and then yeah, literally 342. As soon as that was the number, there was not really a doubt in my mind I was gonna do that, and then literally we did it. Obviously, European champion after that, but I am actually surprised by how little I felt both in the moment and after. Like, it was actually a weird. I messaged Nathan the other day, like literally, like, bro, I kind of hear. I think he was doing Euros directly after Worlds and having the extreme high of Worlds, and then doing Euros, even still winning, but it's Euros. Do you know what I mean? It's like Nathan's world champ. Do you know what I mean? So it's like it was obviously a huge high as well, but it wasn't necessarily what I thought it was going to be at the time. And I think I felt out of sorts all day. So it was almost like a relief. Do you know what I mean?
To talk to that, I think you notice it with powerlifting. The more you compete, especially when you do high level competitions, it's enjoy the journey rather than the end, the destination. So IPA4s, enjoy the training, whether you have to deal with in training, enjoy peaking and everything. The competition comes and goes, you know. Even if you win worlds, you have to, like, there's this famous LeBron, it's not LeBron. It's I can't remember his name, but he kind of goes, if I win, I have to go back to training the next day. If I lose, I have to go back to training the next day. It doesn't make any difference, right? So just enjoy the process, and you will get that come down from competition. That normally happens, especially as you get to higher and higher levels.
Yeah.
It's going to get to that point where it's never enough. And like early in powerlifting, it's fun, whereas later in powerlifting, it's like it's never enough in your head. It's just like, oh, I hit that PBs all round. Yeah, but I could have hit more.
But what's it? Okay, so what's it like for you guys? Obviously, you've done like multiple internationals now. After each international, like, where's your head usually at?
Mine's bodybuilding.
Bodybuilding.
Mo is a straight up liar, bro. Because the day after he competed at World,
Malta's a different situation, though. How can you bring Malta in?
He was
when you
in
have
his
the worst
full
comp
singlet,
of your life, what
socks
do you expect
on,
to happen?
everything in the warm up room. I'm like, what are you doing here? He was like, oh, I'm just here. I'm like, what do you mean you're just here? You know the meme of that guy who's like, what you doing? And he's like, just hanging around. That's exactly what Mo was doing.
Me, like, from my experience, Nathaniel, I've done this for what? I've done this for 7 years, and I've been in international since 2018. Right? I've done quite a bit more international than pretty much everybody here. Espin has done only one, so it doesn't count. But
are you counting your Commonwealths with this number?
No. In 2018, that's I'm talking about Calgary, Canada. That's where I'm starting. Commonwealth was 2017. But anyway, for me, after every single international, when I just drop my last deadlift, whether I miss it or get it, whatever, when I get on to the back, before when I'm changing my tracksuit, the next text message I get, I message Joey. I was like, start thinking about the next block. So we're going back to training next week. I've done that all across. And then that's what it's been. It's not like, oh, I need a bigger number for next comp or I need to do well. No, it's just like, get me into training straight away. I don't need time to reset. I don't need that time.
That makes sense then.
Don't let this put you off though. Have fun. I think it's important because, like, for example, myself, I've competed 3 competitions now this year, not all gone the best. And I've actually noticed that I need to step back from the competition aspect and just go back to enjoying training, because sometimes you get stuck in that hole of, I need more, I need to get closer. And sometimes you just need to step back, enjoy training, enjoy what you've been doing since you were a kid, basically, and then introduce that competitive aspect back again when you're ready for it.
Yeah, I think
so. You're such a dick. You said you've done 3 this year, not all have gone well. What are you talking about? Name the 3.
I've done Sheffield. I've only done 2 actually. I've done Sheffield and Malta.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You're a dick. So Sheffield, how can you say Sheffield didn't go well when you just loaded for the world record for 5K, the one that you dropped?
Yeah, but it wasn't the total I wanted to hit on that day. It wasn't what I
Sheffield. Thought. Who cares?
Yeah, but this comes down to exactly what I was saying. Is it's never enough. So for me, like, as soon as I finish competing, like, you're always looking at the next comp. But I usually take a week to do nothing but bodybuilding stuff. I won't touch a barbell for a full week, because I think you've been hyper specific for the strength block, the peak. It's been barbell, and sometimes it's just
probably
nice
tapered off the accessories as well, so you feel quite small. Do you know what I mean? Like, when you haven't done,
big.
I don't taper accessories as much as most people. Weirdly enough, like the last week I'll only do tries buys, if that makes sense, for a pump just to get things going. But my accessories carry on until the week before.
I'm pretty much the same. Owen does the minimal taper thing. Like, I've even had to do, like, I can't lie, like, before Worlds was on Friday. On Monday, he still had me doing squats and then Bulgarians. I did not do them Bulgarians because, bro, it's Monday, Worlds is on Friday. Why am I doing Bulgarians? But other than that, yeah, I'm pretty much similar. But I need a reset as well. I'm not like Joey and them's like Joey went the next day or 2 days after and, like, maxed his sumo. And then now he
I saw that video.
Trap bar.
That's why I call people like that stupid dicks. Because when you go, I'm sorry, because when you go and max out your lift the next day because you had a bad comp or because you just competed, that's when the injuries happen. How many people have broken their backs because they max out the day after comp?
I'm gonna clip this so well. It's gonna be Joe's gonna think everyone hates it.
Obviously. No, as I said, Joey's my guy. But I pointed him out to say that I feel like me and him are very different in that regard, because he does a comp and it's like, okay, let me just do mad side missions. And I'm like, yo, I don't even want to see a gym for the next week. Like, that's my mentality, because I need a full reset. But I mean, me and him are different in that regard. Obviously, different things work for different people. But
let me ask you guys, right? When you compete, you go the next day to max out. What do you get out of it?
Injury.
Nothing. Yeah, it's not
exactly.
Because you're gonna like, your body's already on edge at, like, peak. So, for example, just as an example, like, you're gonna taper the week of the comp after doing your, do you know what I mean? Like, your max, your peak, and then you're gonna hit the heaviest lift you've ever done, and your body just wants that time to relax for a little bit, to, like, then go do mad missions. I think it'll be fine as a junior and stuff like that, because your recovery's high, or, like, if you're surrounded by people, like, sometimes it's fine. But for me, if I did that, my back would be.
Bro, personally, I feel like I'm already getting to that point. After Worlds, I felt physically sick. Like, I had a headache for like 2 days. I felt sick. Like, we tried to go out. I thought I was gonna be like, yeah, that night we're out, we're partying, bro. We went out, yeah. First of all, Nathan didn't even get let into the club because he's wearing shorts, yeah. And then we were in there for like like 10, 15, 20 minutes, and I just went home, bro. I was like,
I just want food.
Bro, I just went home, and then it was,
all I care about is food. But I have to say, after Euros, I am gonna do some dumb shit, but only because I'm gonna give it a few days. I'm gonna give it a few days. I am gonna give it a few days, but I wanna max out on a deadlift bar. That's all I want to do. Like, once, only once ever, because I know where my deadlift's at. I know what it's feeling like, and I'm never gonna do this again. But I just feel like I could disrespect the fucking shit out of some people.
What do you think that you could do on a deadlift bar?
I don't even know, bro. So put it this way: the only time I've ever done a deadlift bar is when I pulled 300 for the first time ever. I hit 330 on a deadlift bar because of the way I pull.
Yeah, see, the way I pull now, I don't get that much out of it. But I think you might.
He'll get the most out of it.
I'll get the most out of a deadlift bar.
Your pure legs on the convention.
Also,
so
it depends on how Euro goes. Like if everything's perfect and I feel like I don't need to, I won't do it. Like it's just been me and Christian are gonna do it basically. He said he wants to do it after Euros as well. But this will be like the one time.
No, but he's sumo. That's
brilliant. I hope you guys break your backs.
Bar is a genuine difference.
What do you mean break your backs?
Yeah, we're going to try 450 and you break your back and you're out of word so paper can go. Anyway.
but it also...
they're not all as old as you. Like, the recovery is a bit better once you're prior to 35.
Yes.
But usually I take a lot of time off after comps, but after Worlds, I took that week off and then I started training again. I hit the floor running and it was good actually. So it depends on how you feel, like how your body feels, what you want to do.
I think when it comes to my recovery, I think I'm better than a lot of these young lifters in our country. I don't think any lift in this country is close to me when it comes to recovery.
You've learned how to train with 500 calories, so the fact that you're eating 2K now means that you're just...
Wait, hold on. Wait, I've heard these memes so much, watching you guys. Jurins, how much do you actually eat in a day? Because
first explain how much you used to eat.
Yeah, how much did you used to eat, Jurins?
Before it used to be 900 to 1,500 calories a day.
No. Wait.
900.
Wait. No, don't do that. 900 to 1,500. 900. That's it. There was don't touch shit, Jurins.
I only have 1 meal. One meal, and I drink a lot though. I drink a lot of water though. I drink about
all them calories in the water.
Yeah. Wait, when is used to? When is used to?
2 days ago.
2 years ago.
So that was October 2022. A year.
That was 1 year ago. What?
Yeah.
And that's why total has increased so aggressively.
What is it now?
Oh no! Now it's gone up. It's gone just like 2,500.
Okay, now that's fairly normal.
Yeah.
900.
So, yeah.
This is why we were taking the piss out of him. Because it don't make any sense. Like I genuinely
I don't even know. No, I heard your answer in terms of like your parents making you eat bare food growing up, and now you're older. You don't.
Yeah. Literally.
And on top of that, to make it even worse, he has a cereal with water.
Bro, did you ever hear about that? This fucker here was explaining to me how he has Cocoa Pops with water.
Is a Congolese.
Okay,
and then no, don't shut it then. And then he'll have a protein shake with it. So me and my coach, when we were speaking to him, we were like, you can put your protein in your milk, put it in your Cocoa Pops and have it together. And he was like, really?
Okay, wait, do this? Maybe that's why you only eat 900 calories, because the food was disgusting.
Yeah.
Cocoa Pops and water.
Anyway, guys, we're talking about the influence here. We're not talking about me. I've fixed that part of my life, so I'm happy now, and I'm okay with it. Right? So be careful. The more you feed me, the more you feed me, you guys will have a hard time to break that British ranking. So be careful. Don't feed me too much.
What's your geo? What's your geo?
113.67.
Mo has it tattooed on his hand.
I've got a big ass wall. I stare at every single morning.
Don't worry, 106.
Nathaniel, you get there. Can a man not look? I just want to know. I'm not saying I'm gonna do it. I would just like to know. Hold on.
So Nathaniel, for you to beat me, I think you need about 860, 870.
Wait, all right. Let's say I'm 92 and a half. Let's go 860. 860 is 112. 865. 865. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Yeah. I was curious.
Yeah. So that would be nothing come to Euro, by the way. So yeah, that's another story to another day. But anyway, we've covered a lot. I'll ask you one thing in terms of like my last question before the guys jump in. What's the future hold for you? Apart from you being the best British 93, I would precise the best British 93 lifter next year, right? You didn't
like
talk about the
105
best.
better. Best British 105 lifter better. Sounds better for you, man.
But the good thing
Come
about
on.
it, you're so calm and humble. You didn't say the best British lifter the whole time, because that one I would have just choked you myself.
No, listen, levels, isn't it? Levels. I'm still in the juniors now.
Yeah,
like,
it's not to play, man.
The best in the country before I can talk about best ever. Do you know what I mean? I'm talking about opens.
I get what you mean.
I've got to do one step at a time.
Yeah, what's the future hold for you? Also, what plans do you have for powerlifting in Britain? Because people like yourself, one thing we don't, I know we've been joking left, right, and center. People that have got a platform like you is the people we need in the sport, is the people that can give back to the sport. What are you planning to do, or what are you thinking of doing with powerlifting in our country?
So I've got my own competition that is on the horizon. That I'm hopefully, I can't talk too much about it, but I want to work to make that like amazing and involve some other influencers in it, just for them doing their like first competitions, so like they can bring some more attention to powerlifting, and then it's their first competition. They like making content of it and whatnot, and give some serious prizes away and whatnot. So working to do my own competition. I'll basically just want to make powerlifting as mainstream as possible. Because I have a more mainstream platform than say some other guys, but obviously powerlifting is obviously very niche. So if I can get my audience to kind of fully integrate themselves in powerlifting, and then hopefully as I become more mainstream, hopefully powerlifting can help become more mainstream as well. That'll be a goal. Like I pretty much just want to continue to do what I'm doing, but like it's also tough to say, because this last year I could not have predicted what had happened. Like, if you asked me this last year, no way would I tell you I'd be European champion now. No way. So I'm really just gonna have to keep doing what I'm doing and see. But pretty much more of what you've seen now, and just keep working. And yeah, I want to look into more ways to monetize it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like in that aspect, because obviously doing a lot of the competitions and whatnot, it builds your like your audience base, and then that's more of a space to monetize it off of as well. So that's another thing in this next year. But other than that, man, it's like the powerlifting stuff, like best in the country, hopefully win world championship, and then we see if we move up to 105s next year, innit? So, but by that time, you're meant to be a 120 by then, I swear.
We'll see what happens, man. We'll see. But I literally,
you like the shreds too much to move up to 120.
Sorry?
You like the shreds too much to move up to 120.
The problem with 120 is they've all got insane deadlifts or big bench. So you need to have one of either. So we'll see what happens. I'm just having fun. I've said this 100 times. I'm literally just going to have fun. Enjoy powerlifting before we go into the competition aspect. But I want to see more talent come into the 105s, because we have a lot of talented lifters in the 93s and also in the 105s, but they just need to push.
Yeah, like we didn't even bring a 105 to Euros.
Yeah, because the juniors are just lacking as of right now. So I think a lot of 93s need to consider moving up, and not just do the move up like just bulk and get big, but put the good muscle tissue.
Yeah, Jack's plan. Jack should be moving up either this year or probably.
That'll be good. Yeah, that'll be good.
Because he said if he's not restricting, he's like 100 kilos. So as a young guy, he's now 20. Like, you don't want to be restricting.
Nah, you want to grow.
Yeah, you want to grow. Yeah. I would say right now, I definitely will be moving up. It's just a matter of when. I can't do this forever. Like I said, my first ever competition was done at 93, so I can't stay the same weight class that I started powerlifting at. It just doesn't really happen.
Yeah, I started 93s. To be fair,
you started 90?
Yeah, started 93 as well. So move up.
There's no hope.
But I think the British. If your domestic level is mad high in the weight class you want to move up to, I think that makes it hella daunting. If it's high at the world level, then it's just like, all right, cool, I might not be world champion, but at least I'll do well at the British. But if you might still get stomped to the British. That's why, because I said to Nathan, like, his move up from 93s, like, he really, going into internationals, we knew he was going to stomp everyone. Even though he was an 83 moving up, we knew he was still going to stomp everyone. Obviously, then, when he first made the decision to move up, he thought he'd be around 5th in the world, and obviously he ended up winning the world title, but still, like, I feel like it's a little bit easier when there's a bit more of a gap.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there is a gap in 105s now, because I know there's some strong guys who are coming, but they obviously they haven't, like, no one's really cemented themselves this year, at least not on the international stage. As I said, we didn't even bring one to Euros, but next year I feel like will be a good year for 105 juniors. This year was a good year for 93 juniors. Obviously, Nathan won Worlds, I won Euros. Next year, I think 105s might do well.
Okay. I think there's a step up from juniors to seniors. And I know we say it and people like take offense to it, but like the standards, the seniors throughout all the weight cats, I think are quite high. And I think when juniors are looking at going into weight classes, they're not looking at it now. They're looking at the future. Do you know what I mean? But sometimes you've just got to do what's right by you. Like if you've maxed out a weight cat, stop thinking, oh, I need to stay here to like be relevant. Sometimes you just got to take the plunge.
Yeah. No, I think 100%. And also, people who are actually built for it are going to continue to progress. Like, I should not be a 93. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, Christian's, how tall is Christian?
5'8".
Christian's not 5'8".
About 5'7", 5'8". Yeah.
5'7". Okay. He's about as tall as you, Jurins.
Oh, he's 5'7".
Yeah.
5'6".
Almost the same height as me, yeah.
What about 5'6"? Yeah, no, because like, for example, Christian is like a better height for a 93. He has significantly more size than me, which is one of the reasons why he's stronger. I can't gain that much size because I will no longer be a 93. Do you know what I'm saying? As a 93, so I would need to then be a 105. So it's like, if I would just hold myself back as a 93, guys like Keiko, that are probably, how tall is Keiko? Like 5'5".
Oh, Keiko's, yeah, 5'5".
Gavin is like 5'4".
Exactly. These guys can pack on serious mass and are going to continue to progress. Whereas if I'm staying skinny, I'm not going to. So yeah, it's not. So yeah, it's not even. It's probably even better in the long term. No, definitely better in the long term, but sometimes even short term. Like.
But have you? I know I said that was my last question, but have you thought about life after juniors to move to the seniors? Have you thought about it?
It's ages away, man. Enjoy your journey.
He has 2 years. What do you mean ages away?
Obviously,
2 years is a long time.
No, two after this, 2. But
okay, 2. Okay.
So yeah, 2024 and 2020. So 2026, I'll move into opens.
Oh, it's open. Okay, that's a long time then.
Yeah, no, it's fairly long time. But obviously, as I said, next year the goal is to be the best even in opens. But who knows if that's going to happen? That's just my goal, right? But obviously, I know that I won Euros, right? But I still have 78 kilos to go from me to Keiko, who's the best in the world. Do you know what I mean? So there's still a lot of work to be done. And then obviously, it's like, I might move up to 105s by that time. Wait, what's the 105? Who won?
Do you want GB record or world record?
Oh, world record.
World record is 9:45 now by
9:40.
9:40.
Yeah.
But then that could be 9:50, 9:60 by next year.
9:60. Yeah.
And then if Ashton.
Yeah, that's why I'll be
comes in. Yeah, that's why it's
like
going to be 9:60. Yeah.
It's like 1,000 by the time. No. I'll predict this now. By the time I get to 105, world record will be 1,000.
Yeah, it will easily.
I'll say 970, 980. 1,000 is tough.
Not 1,000. It will be 1,000. You know, in 3 years' time, before Nathaniel moves in, it will be 1,000.
If we got some Samoan like genetic monster come through.
I think
Ashton can do 1,000.
1,000. So IPF standards or gym total, like
IPF standards.
Okay, let's see what happens. Isn't it?
I'm with Mo. Let's see what happens. I love the lad to bits, but you just don't know what's gonna happen.
Because I'm thinking at IPF Worlds. Hopefully they don't hear this, but I think everyone's total is going down.
Yeah, because we throw 1,000.
Even if Rondell come over,
remember, Rondell hit 1,000. Look at Rondell's numbers, bro. That's 1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I know it's 1,000. Yeah. But anyway, but it will be interesting to see. But guys, any questions from your side, guys? Don't just let me take all the last questions. Go on.
To be honest with you, now I think just one question, and hopefully you can summarize this as quickly as possible. It's a big question and an open-ended one. But Nathaniel, you're a massive social media influencer. Looking at powerlifting, you've been a year into the sport. I mean, let's say on the GB level, what is one thing that you think the sport could do to make it more acceptable by general population or just regular gym goers? What's one thing that you see, that you look at the sport and go, I think if they did this little thing right now, it would actually increase the amount of engagement we get?
All right, so obviously make better content. That's a very open-ended thing, like make your content better. But like, for example, most powerlifters post like everything, right? Like a lot of them post like everything, like your paused fours, your tempo triples. Not gonna lie, no one cares. Outside of powerlifting, nobody cares. So if you want to like make it like mainstream and whatnot, I feel like you need to be more selective with what you choose to post and what you don't choose to post. I feel like that's a big thing. I feel like very simple things like when you do meet recaps, post all the weights that you're doing on the screen. Like, you know how some guys get their like white lights or SBD like footage done for them and they post their meet recap, but they don't even have how much weight they're doing like, on the screen. I think you want to make it as accessible to someone who's a noob as possible. So make everything easy. Do it in kilos and pounds. Make everything as dumbed down as you literally can. And that's what's going to help you reach out to the general population. I feel like make it sometimes just, I feel like obviously powerlifting is a bit bigger in America because I think partially obviously because of the culture, American football culture. A lot of their powerlifters are like ex-American football players, and then a lot of the guys do the powerlifting lifts when they're training for American football as whatnot. But I think it's also down to the culture. I think you need to make something a big deal before it's going to be a big deal to someone else. Do you know what I mean? So we need to make things like a bigger deal. We need to probably put some more showmanship into things before other people are going to feel that towards it. I feel like that's a big, and I feel like it's definitely going in that direction. Like even from venues that events are being held at. Like obviously when I did my first comp and it was like a regional, it was held in like some secondary school, and I brought a couple people with me to come with it, and they were like, what is this basically? Like, and then obviously going from that to like now we've got juniors just at Gymshark, that's sick. Opens last year, what was that? Not Strong.
No, I'm strong. I was inside a gym. Well,
yeah,
the venue next
exactly. So like, yeah, good venues. I feel like that's a big thing. Social media, making sure that like just simple things, make sure the pictures are high quality, whatnot, things like that. And I feel like sports grow with like stars. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like basketball took a huge leap up when it was like Michael Jordan. Like every sport is almost only as good as their top stars. You know what I'm saying? So it's like now, like for example, like with myself, I know that like I've probably got the biggest YouTube of any powerlifter, right? Like my world's video was trending on YouTube and got like 200k views, right? But that's like almost the ceiling right now. So that ceiling needs to get bigger in order for the sport to grow as well. Because obviously you're only really going to be as big as your ceiling. And right now, if I'm the biggest and I'm doing that, then it needs to be someone bigger than me, or I need to get bigger in order to help the sport grow. So I feel like, yeah, we need more guys who are comfortable embracing that social media aspect, and then we'll help the sport grow in that regard. Because like, again, I touched on Nathan, I mentioned Nathan a few times, but like, example, Nathan, amazing lifter and whatnot, but like, he just doesn't like the social media stuff. So like, I feel like powerlifting has tons of guys like that who just like powerlifting, don't like the social media stuff as much. I feel like there's so many guys like that, especially in the UK. But if we really want the sport to grow, then I feel like guys kind of need to start taking that side of things serious. Otherwise, you're not going to have those like superstars, you know what I'm saying? And that's what you need for a sport to grow.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool.
But that's what hopefully we're gonna hope do. And I even know up to now, like Joshua and Goka, Nonso, these guys obviously are both world champions now, but I know for a fact these guys watched my content for years, and I definitely played a role in them getting into lifting. I know that. And then like they're literally their world champions. I'm not putting that down to myself, but I know that I'm saying that I've made a positive impact on some of those guys. And obviously it's funny now because I'm friends with them. Obviously when I first met them, not so to Josh, to play it cool, because I always say to guys that I'm way more likely to become friends with guys if you're just normal. If a guy comes on a mad fanboy energy, it's going to be hard to become friends. Obviously, those guys were normal. Obviously, now we're friends. But like, obviously, anytime I say stuff about stuff in the past, they'll kind of know what I'm talking about because they watched me back then. So yeah, it's one of those. But yeah, no. So like those kind of things, I'm very happy about because I feel like I've made a positive influence, even from being like the Instagram guy that helped some guys get into lifting. Then they get into powerlifting. Then you've got like guys now who are literally world champions. So we need more of that.
I've got a last question as well. Has your content changed a lot in terms of like collabs that you do, and like you're more like cautious on what kind of things to post now? Because obviously, looking at your Instagram now, even if you scroll down, I was literally just scrolling right now, you can see that it's very like bodybuilding-ish, like your top off, like flex and stuff. And now as you like scroll the way up, it's more powerlifting specific.
Yeah.
So, like, have you had to be more specific on like who to do collabs with because of like the engagement that you've got?
Yeah, so I feel like I've always been that way. No, not always. More so recently, yeah. Like I feel like I only really do a collab if it makes sense. I'm not talking about just like training with a guy and whatnot. I'm down to like within powerlifting. I love to train with pretty much anyone, but when it comes to doing like collabs, I feel like you kind of get to a point where you only really do it if it makes sense. Like for example, me and Joey now, we do a lot of stuff together. It kind of makes sense. We have like a very similar kind of audience. But like, yeah, and then also with the bodybuilding stuff, like at 96 kilos, my physique isn't as good as it is at 91 kilos. So when you're seeing loads of the bodybuilding stuff, that's me at like between like 87 and like 91 kilos. But then at 96, I've still got abs, but I'm not like before. Like my thing was that I was lifting like 700 pounds, but I was still like fairly shredded. Do you know what I mean? I can't do that anymore. But also Instagram, the way that the algorithm is now, it's all reels. Like photos do pretty much nothing. So before I used to post like every day on Instagram, like pictures, shirt off, That now would even if I was shredded, that wouldn't necessarily grow me much more, because reels literally the biggest video I've actually posted from Euros or Worlds is me hitting the Chava after I won the Euros. That literally is the biggest video like out of anything. And literally just like a funny reel. So like stuff like that, like I feel like does so much better than like the bodybuilding stuff now. It's just kind of changed with the times. Like a lot of the guys who just still post like Instagram pictures, you stop getting growth now because Instagram does not care about pictures. It's all reels.
Indy?
Last question, Indy?
Anything from Indy?
No, you boys have covered it all, to be honest. It's been good having you on. But actually, to be fair, who's been your biggest influence for powerlifting? If anyone at all.
Neymar.
Yeah, bro. I'll end this chat.
Do you like? Wait. Actually, no. I'm not even gonna get into that. No. I'm not gonna hit.
Well, who was it when you first were coming in? You saw and thought, Larry, that'll be good.
Larry.
Oh yeah, he did that.
And who is it now?
I would say before it was Larry Wheels. Now, I like Bob a lot. I like Bob. Who do I really like?
This is where you say no one.
No. I like a lot of guys, right? But when I started, it was so Johnny Candido was first, right? On the YouTube side. Then it was Larry Wheels who got me into it, and then now in terms of like the powerlifting scene now, in terms of guys that I mainly look up to, I'm not gonna lie, it's mainly like the British lot, like you guys, because obviously I'm from the same country, and it's like obviously I'm rooting for you guys, so it's pretty much you guys.
Do you watch Ross at all, or nah? You don't really follow him.
Ross was a big influence as well, but more so is more recent how do I explain it? When you
if you start squatting with ski goggles on, I'm gonna have to block you on Instagram.
If I start squatting with the gold,
bro.
I know I ain't got a bad word to say about Ross, but I just haven't been as tapped into his content recently. That's just no bad words to say about him, but he definitely was an influence. But now I would just say the GB lot, to be fair. I did low key geek out when Panna and Leah we were down in Manchester and they walked into the same like barbecue because it was my protein event, and I spoke to them, got a picture. I did geek out a little bit with that, but other than that, yeah, Jesus, obviously Jesus as well. He's obviously fucking king right now. That's a big one. But other than that, bro, it's just the GB lot. Like, I just want GB on top, bro.
I think one of the things as well, in GB, I think we've been saying this for years in this podcast. The support, we need to show the support. We need to show it, not just verbally or not just because we talk about it on social media. When someone does well, repost the person. Do you know what I mean? Why can't you? Do you know what I mean? Because we don't do that here. But what pisses me off is our lifters, they'll be reposting a fucking French or American. You have got fucking Nathaniel that just won Euros. Why can't you repost him? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why can't you report fucking Nonso? But they will be reporting, what's that kid that can't even fucking held the deadlift? Malik. Or they will be reporting that Hamza or whatever his name is.
It's because the closer, it's easier to fanboy on someone who you feel is far removed from you and doesn't make you feel bad about yourself. When you've got guys in GB, guys that live in some close proximity to you, doing all these great things, if you're not where you want to be, it makes you feel worse about yourself. Versus a guy like, I don't know, like Panna, for example, he's like a big, like, obviously lifting up, people might post, right? He's some French guy, you're probably never going to meet him. Like, guys don't mind fanboying of him. But if they were in some close proximity to him, he might make them feel bad about themselves. Do you know what I mean? And they might feel like it's taking shine away from them. But yeah, that's the UK all over, bro. That's the UK all over.
See, that's wild to me, that mentality. Because like I share the shit out of Tony. Yes. And he's technically number one in 120s where I need to be. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. That mentality, I think, holds you back.
No, it does.
It's a valid thing you've mentioned about being UK thinner, because I've also heard all the big influencers say the same things, where like they compare being in the UK as an influencer to when they move over to America, how they're celebrated more and like they seem to, I don't know.
It's the thing I said earlier in terms of just our culture. Like, we don't really want like superstars. Like, we don't really have the culture of like really idolizing people. Do you know what I mean? Like, our kind of thing is like just taking the piss out of people, but in other places they really idolize people. Another country like that, like over in America, like Brazil, for example, like the way that they like idolize their celebrities is different over there. And then so when you see like Brazilian athletes, wherever it is, like whether it's Ramon in bodybuilding, his audience is so on it, like, and that helps him get to the next level and whatnot. It very much does come down to the culture. So where British culture is a bit like kind of sarcastic, kind of take the piss out of people and whatnot, and then a little bit crabs in the bucket, it's hard for people to really make that next level. And if they do, sometimes they need to blow in other places. Like Simeon Panda, for example, obviously that's the general body. He like blew in America. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's one of those ones. Sometimes you really just have to take your talent somewhere else, unfortunately. But the culture may be shifting, but I feel like that's just another big thing that as a UK person, you always have to deal with.
True. On the last one is my favorite picture of you is when you dropped that deadlift, that 340 a world, and you drop on your knees. No picture you take in your life will beat that picture.
No, it won't. I don't think I ever surpassed that one. Do you know the story about that? Yeah, the emotions in that one was crazy, but also like I literally said to the white lights, their desk was down there, yeah. I came to, I was like, yo, like, I need this content, so can we work something out, basically? And then they were telling me about the different packages they offer, and I was like, yo, I want these free pictures. I want the free pictures and the raw clips, and let's work something out. And then we worked something out, I got pictures then, because I had to post that one thing that I think has really helped me has been striking while the iron is hot. I think some guys wait too long, like they post their meet recaps, like 2-3 weeks after they compete and whatnot. Like, I feel like you always need to strike while the iron is hot. So I posted that night, and like, surprise, that's literally like one of my most liked Instagram posts like ever, because I literally the buzz was there and then I posted then. So whatever I need to do to get them pictures, I posted it right then and there. And then
But as an influencer as well, that lift on the deadlift bar and all this fake shit, that picture is not fake. That picture is a real shit. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
real emotion.
Yeah, it feels weird as well, not being an Insta lifter anymore, because it's like, because like knowing that stuff's actually like legit. Like, I feel like I was on that wave for so long that now like it does. Because for example, I kind of now do the same thing I used to do to people used to do to me. Like, I do the videos. You know, Anatoly, the guy that can I clean here? I got one 18 million viewed video off of just putting his deadlift and then him saying, can I clean hair, and saying absolutely not. So I literally did it again with the Euros video. And then my whole comment section is like, oh, but he's lighter than you and da-da-da-da. But I literally, the cycle goes around. Now I'm taking the piss out of other people with doing bendy bar. The cycle is... I'm going to turn into Indy. So it's
exactly. That'll be fine, because I'll pull like 400 to 410 at Euros. Do you know what I mean? And then do the funny one. Then... I'll be like, it'll be all right. I'm ready for it.
That's
Don't worry,
calm.
Nathan. Next year you'll be taking the piss out of Nathan because you're gonna take his record. Cool. That was really good, mate. It was a really good chat. So I really enjoyed it. I'm sure the boys have enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed it.
To anyone who's listening to us, guys, please, if you have any comment or any questions, just drop it to us. Again, if you have a message for Nathaniel, reach out to his Insta and drop him a message. Nathaniel is a nice person. He will reach out to you guys. I know he has got over 100,000 followers, but he cares about British lifters. If you are not British, I'm sorry, mate. You're not getting no reply. But anyway, Nathaniel, so last comment in terms of like people you want to turn your, because I know you're a sponsored athlete. You just can't come here and say goodbye. No, you need to shout out. So yeah.
Obviously, yeah. Gymshark, guys, use code Nate, 10% off. My protein Nate 35, and yeah. I want to thank you guys for having me on. I was actually really looking forward to this, and I thought we had a really good chat. Like, we've literally been talking for like 2 hours. It's flown by. So yeah, hopefully in the future, if I do a few more things, can come back on here with some more stories to tell. But no, it's been really good. And yeah, as I said, I'm literally just a fan of you guys' podcast. I like what you guys are doing. So yeah, man, it's been good being on it.
Thanks, mate. I appreciate it.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Appreciate it. See you guys in a bit.
Bro.